it's just a matter of time and learning.
And learning some time.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's not like you can't fucking DM me on every platform imaginable whenever news drops for us to go like, holy shit.
Well, I still will.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a yearly Modular Components special event. This is the top 10 toys of 2023. I am one of your hosts, the Vacuuminator, and I am joined, as always, by the very toyetic Snowcone83.
That is Snowcone 80, me.
Wow. Oh my god, it's actually him. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Folks, this is our third year running in doing this, I believe. And it might be our last year considering I am retiring in a few weeks, but I will admit I enjoy doing these so much. Even though they get like so few views. They've like rarely cracked like 40 views. I enjoy doing these so much. This is something that I would like come out of retirement to do again next year. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. We're gonna do things a little different this year. We're still gonna do a top 10, a proper top 10, each of us having a full list. But in addition to the honorable mentions we usually do halfway through, I've come up with a few new segments, as it were, to make this more of like a general toystrospective on the year, and kind of like a little look forward to next year. So I think it'll be an interesting listen all around. But if you think that, don't forget to support Modular Media. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell. Do all them YouTube things, and just generally have a good old time while you're listening to this. But before we get into the topics proper, Cody, how have you been enjoying collecting this year? How have you felt about collecting in a general sense this last year?
In a general sense, very strange.
Mm.
There's been a lot of things that have happened throughout the year, I think, that have caused me to think about things in a different way, or even like not necessarily on purpose. I've collected probably a lot less than normal. Um, and I've been thinking about this for a little while as to why that might have even happened. But I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that did kick off, I think. You know, we don't have to get into super wild things like
Yeah.
politics or anything like that. But I mean, there's definitely been stuff that's made me like want to hold on to money a little bit more than normal. But even still, like I still would have the general census of like, yeah, there's things I want. And I don't know, just with like the big ollies, like Baganza, I guess, whatever, that kicked off this year and everything being like mass exodus, like discounted. Um, it's been really weird. I've like passed on things when I thought I could see them on another store for less. And uh, there's only been a few times where I've decided to pull the trigger on full price things. And I don't know. But it's also like I don't really feel like I've missed out on too much, and the stuff that I haven't picked up yet, I still intend to pick up, and it's not like it's gone forever.
Yeah.
But the quality, I think, for the stuff that I've picked up this year, though, it feels the same as the quality for the stuff I picked up the year prior, and I think that might speak volumes for itself. Like I think the fact that like it still felt like I bought a lot because of the stuff that I got was just so like tuned in a way that it really didn't matter too much. But it also felt like I might have spent not as enough or not as much time with displaying some things. But this was the year that I got my second room set up finally and started really putting stuff up in there. And I think as I started to do that and started to specify where things went and what things were going to go where, I said the same thing twice, but meaning like, you know, what theme is going to go on this shelf and, you know, what item should be in room one or two, um, I realized it really does. It really did pull me back pretty hard, uh, trying to plan for things and trying to think about what I really wanted in the space versus not.
Yeah.
But overall, positive.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely kind of in the same general sense of it was a bit of an odd year. Uh, I did collect a little less this year. I got about 100 less individual items than I did the previous year. But I don't know if the quality really went up or down. I definitely agree that things kind of have plateaued in a general sense. Of it kind of feels like the industry is just locked into what people want right now, and they're just trying to see how much they can charge for that shit in some cases. Um, I've definitely been trying some different things this year. There's going to be some lines that show up on my top 10 that haven't been on either of my previous two, and that'll probably be interesting for some people. Money definitely has been a little bit tighter, but it hasn't like really hurt me in collecting. There's nothing that like I'm super broken up about not having yet. It's just like when I actually stop and think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I do have a little list of things I kind of wish I had gotten around to getting, which I guess can take us pretty handily on to our first topic, kind of like a little appetizer for the top 10 slash hey, don't get mad at us if you don't hear this thing. The first thing I want to talk about is just kind of like a general figures or toys in general that you wanted this year that you weren't able to get in time for your top 10. Now I came up with this back before you had something that we both kind of knew was going to be on your list, but I still was able to come up with a few things. So I thought I'd keep it in anyway. Um, I know who should go first on the main list, but I kind of don't care either way with this. Do you want to go first or should I?
You could go first. I do have a few that I'll mention because uh, both in tied or tying into what we both said, starting this off. I feel like it's still a good thing to talk about this time around,
Mm-hmm. All
regardless
right.
of thing or thing not.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's really just like one or two things per line that I collect, as well as like some lines I did want to get into and didn't get time. So like, first two things are really just like, hey, I wanted these, and I either never saw them or never had the money for them yet. And that's Transformers Legacy Tarn and the GI Joe Classified series Cobra Valkyries. I definitely still want to get both of these figures or figures and figure set, but I never ever saw a Tarn in person, and I was expecting to either find it in a Target or be able to get it at my local vintage toy store, Toy Federation. Just straight up haven't seen it in person yet. And the Valkyries were in Toy Federation one day when I went in there, but I was like, I can pay because I think they were asking 50 for them. I was like, I can pay 50 for these two brand new figures that are probably going to be around for a little bit, or I can pay 50 for like these four figures that I've been after for a while. And by a while, I mean like a few years. So I'm going to go ahead and pay 50 for these four figures instead. Um, and then there's the Black Series Rebel Commando. I do really wish I had it because I remember in the first one of these we did, I talked about the Hoth Rebel Trooper, and I was like, "This is the fucking best army builder I've ever held." I really hope they do the Endor version because that would be so much more my speed actually, and they have done it now, but they bungled up the release of that thing so fucking bad that I just haven't gotten around to getting it yet because I keep forgetting it's out. Um, the DC Multiverse Batman and Robin wave. I've talked about this a couple times on No Prize as the news about it has been coming out. I agree it is a little hinky in spots, but like it's the first time we've gotten actual good figures for that movie that aren't hot toys in a long, long time, and that movie is like a childhood favorite of mine. So I'm very much wanting to get my hands on that whole wave. Mafex Nightwing is something that like I considered getting a couple times when it dropped because like I'm really enjoying the current Nightwing comic, and it's just a really solid looking action figure, but like just couldn't get the money up in time. Marvel Legends Smythe. who comes in a 2-pack with Peter Parker, the like animated series VHS version.
Um,
Uh, Definitely want that boy. I have long been obsessed with the weird ass animated series Smythe design. It's gonna happen at some point. I mean, Spider-Man Rogues are the main reason I got into Marvel Legends. Just hasn't yet. Uh, Mafex T800. One of my favorite movie characters of all time is the T800 in Terminator 2. Terminator and Terminator 2 are my favorite movie put together. So definitely got to get this at some point. I haven't yet because it's a thing I can only get online, and so I only see it when I'm looking at other stuff, and I go like, oh man, I should have gotten that a month ago, but I don't got the money for it now. Dang it. D&D Grimsword, the NECA figure, that's purely just I want him because he looks cool. Like he looks like fucking Nasty
mm,
Knight from Power Rangers. I want to get that boy and make him fight my Lightning Collection Black Ranger. The Jada, Ryu, and Chung Li. Uh, I'm not much of a Street Fighter fan. I went out of my way to learn the lore when these things started coming out, and it's like, okay, I get it. I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I do understand Street Fighter, and I do like these characters, and these look like really damn good action figures. So I want to mess with them, but again, this is a thing where it's just like I ain't seen it in person, and every time I see it online, I'm trying to buy other things. Uh,
there is one on
and
my target
mm,
for Chun Li.
I'll be thinking about that. And then the Zesray Studios Combatants and the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Primal Thane. Those are two independent lines. Well, an independent line and an independent figure that I keep eyeballing. I do want to be buying more independents as time goes on, and those two look like really interesting things. I just haven't gotten around to it. And that's pretty much everything. It's a bit of a long list, but like there's nothing where it's like, oh man, I can't believe I didn't get that. That would have made the top 10. There's stuff in here that might have made the top 10, but it doesn't kill me that I don't have it yet. It's just like, yeah, we're going to loop back around to that. It's going to be a thing. How about you?
Yeah, mine wouldn't be as long. One thing, and again, this is something, or not again, but I got significantly less Star Wars figures this year, probably than any year before, and it was the same for last year. And I think that's honestly because like I've had like a solid ass shelf of blacks of sorry, two solid ass shelves of Black Series figures.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of just me waiting for the robots and then some more specifics that are taking too long to come out.
Question
Um,
about your Black Series shells. Do you have them like separated anyway, like good guy, bad guy, original trilogy prequels, or is it just a total mishmash?
so on the general shelf, that's just kind of everything. It is kind of split down the middle where there's like mostly good guys to the left and mostly bad guys to the right. But I'll have more bounty hunters and stuff like that on the right, along with like Empire and like New Republic and whatever. And then I have like more Jedi and like, good characters on the left. And then I do just have like a whole ass shelf of like clones fighting General Grievous and a bunch of battle droids.
Legit.
Um, I have one single Phase One clone on the new body on the regular shelf, and that's the only like clone trooper that's on that shelf. Outside of I think maybe a purge trooper somewhere. No, he's on the other shelf. Um, so that's about it. So I got
Right on.
my all of Star Wars shelf, and then my the Clone Wars and Battle Droid shelf.
The best bits.
Pretty much. Um, and that goes into the stuff that I missed out. The first thing, again, like I literally know where there is one right now. I could probably buy it on cheaper on Amazon, but it's the Republic, not the Republic, the Rebellion security droid from like the first season of Mando that finally came out.
Hmm.
The weird like triangle-ish head guys.
Yeah.
Um, I just never picked that up, along with the HK droids, which we got two of this year. The second one I've seen in person a bunch, and I just didn't think it looked too hot. The all red one.
Yeah,
Uh,
I heard the HKs are crap, but I've heard decent things about the security boys.
yeah. The real one though. the one that kept slipping my fucking mind because like I had it pre-ordered and canceled it when I like was prioritizing other stuff when I didn't have money. I can't remember. Um, but I forget what his name is. But the droid from the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, the big yellow boy.
Yeah. Uh, Depending on how good that might have been, which I think it would have been about the same. I think it's the similar body to Wrecker. That might have made the list, truthfully. And I think that might be the only thing that would potentially have done that. I'm
Ned
gonna go.
B, his name.
Yeah. But I never saw it in person, so like it kind of just after I canceled the pre-order, it slipped out of my mind.
Mm.
Um, and that would pretty much be it for about Star Wars figures because there's a few others, but again, it's stuff where I'm like, oh, I'll eventually get it, or we'll see. I passed up on completing my Republic Commando line because I kind of got fed up with Star Wars figures going up to $27 or more for gaming greats. And
Yeah.
like with the price going up, the accessories comparable to other Hasbro lines did not compete.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, G.I. Joe. Speaking of, I missed out on a Trouble Bubble. I still haven't got one.
Damn.
Um, Not like, and it's not really that I'm clamoring for it anymore. Like, I don't know. I picked up the Tiger Force Trouble Bubble, and I want that too. But I've not bought that one for a whole different reason because I figure that shit's going to go on sale easy.
Yeah.
The Trouble Bubble, maybe not because it might have sold out already, but I was pretty upset that they didn't do the extra money to give it a clear base when it floats. Like,
Yeah.
if it's like a jet or something like that, like if it's going to be a retail jet or retail helicopter, I could see there not being something in there. But like a personal flying craft, like that's rough.
Mm-hmm. I did just check that at the moment of recording, the Trouble Bubbles are in stock on Hasbro Pulse.
They are. Um, but it's really falling on that like line of like $50.
Yeah, you want to get that on sale, honestly. I've got it. And like after a day or two, I was like, it's kind of just another classified series figure with a big pod. It's a cool little pod, but you ain't gonna do much with that pod except maybe some swooshing.
Yeah, and like I kind of am bummed out that I'd have to like, and this is like straight up personal me, and I know like the show does a whole bunch of different stuff, but like Techno Viper was one, or not Techno Viper, but the Televiper was one guy for me.
Yeah,
I
me
had one
too.
Televiper, so I didn't want to buy like four Treble Bubbles that come with and like they give him the helmets, and like you could give him like the other skin guy or like the other the
The
mask
robot
thing,
face.
and like that's fine and all, but like, bro, it's still like in my mind, it still like exists as like that's actually still just like two other guys. It'd be like
Yeah.
what would be comparable? It'd be like seeing like two people wear the same Iron Man outfit next to each other.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Um,
it's also just like my logic brain goes, I know G.I. Joe B from the 80s, but it's 2023. You really need like 10 guys to make phone calls for you?
oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, like I would have preferred like I don't know, but see if they would have done it that way, we would have lost the two extra heads for Televiper,
Hmm.
and I believe he needs it, like he absolutely does. But I don't know, like just give me $25 on the Trouble Bubble then. But I
Yeah.
guess to think about it that way, like I'm not saying it's not worth it in that way. I just wish I had a flight stand. I have flight stands everywhere that I could use for it.
And
Um,
I think there's a couple different people making adapters for him.
Yeah. The other guy was Snow Job, who I've yet to pick up. And
Oh man, I
Arctic
thought you
Wolf.
got him.
No, I still never did. And
Dang.
again, it's been one of those things. Like, I don't think he would have made the top, but I know he's going to be a good figure. He's just like readily available.
Yeah,
So I'm
you were
kind of
like
like
super
waiting to.
excited about him.
I know I was. But I don't know. It was just one of those things. I was like, yeah, he looks great. And I think what it might be is that like he takes up a little bit more floor space with the skis, and I feel like I don't have the. I'm gonna have to go through like a massive change having like a few of the GI Joe items I have now. So I'm gonna have to figure out where their full dedicated display is gonna be, and until I could get that nailed down, I don't know. Um,
Fair enough.
I feel like it's gonna be pretty wild. But outside of that, I mean, like I really didn't hit a whole lot of Marvel Legends. And that's not entirely true. Definitely more than Source, but There wasn't anything where I feel like, oh man, I didn't get that. Damn it, I wish I could have put my hands on that. Like, not even any of the Spider-Verse figures. You know, I got the ones that I wanted, which was like the bad guy, the Spot.
Hmm.
I wanted that like that total like figure feel. Um, but another one that I'm gonna buy it like I think Friday, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not even gonna count it. It was gonna be the Mark One Iron Man, which it might
Oh.
have made it. Mark One Iron Man might have made it as well, but I don't know. I don't know. Um, and I'm who knows? You know, I don't want to go rant on too much about that, but like it's either gonna be like perfect for me or I'm going to be very upset. Like if it doesn't handle right, but it might because some of the other Legends
I mean, the
figures.
way that torso be bending.
Yeah, like we will see. Um, Quite a few Transformers that I've not put my hands on yet. Oh, I never grabbed Commander Prime Armada.
Mm.
Um, which again, I did the same thing with Menasor last year. I still haven't completed him. Um, or gotten not Menasor. What's the Stunticons
Motormaster.
Motor Master? Yeah, he turns into Menasor. Um, but I mean, and I feel like that's probably more just like money priority.
Hmm.
But not just that though. I felt like I kind of feel like the Commander Prime, like I will still grab it, but it didn't have a lot of gimmicks going on for it, other than being able to like transform from one thing to another. You know, and I'm not saying that like it needs to have a bunch of lights and sounds and like mini cons and shit like that, like the old toy does. Maybe a mini con, maybe, but um, at least like more effect parts or like more weapon play with some of it, which I mean you kind of get with like a little missile pod, but like I don't know, you know, like there was just stuff that I felt like could have been a easy like oh, you know, like the guns on his arms and like the old toy where it turned into a pistol and like you had a lot more playability with that in that one than what it seems like you might on this one. So I don't know. I just put off getting it, but I do still really fucking want it.
I will
Um,
say, out of all the Legacy Armada redos we've gotten so far, he's the one that I feel most justifies being a redo and being at the price point he's at. He feels like he fills out that box.
so and I know I like the Megatron more than you, so it'd be interesting to see. I'm gonna put my hands on it soon, anyways.
Yeah.
I never got Skyquake. I
Me
don't think he
neither.
was ordered, and I'm pretty sure he's been in stock, but I've just not really grabbed him.
Oh yeah,
I
I've seen him at Walmart's.
Yeah, I still need to grab Skullgrin and Needle Nose, and I never got around to it. Um, the real one that hurts this year for Transformers is Beachcomber. I
Hmm.
canceled that expecting it to go to like no, I don't know. I think that was also a situation where it came out too early and I didn't have the money for it. Um, so you know, apparently Beachcomber is just impossible to see, so that sucks. Um, like I don't know. I guess if you see one, let me know. I've not seen one
Yeah.
anywhere.
Neither have
Um,
I. I mean, the last wave of that version of Legacy Deluxe, so that's going to be kind of hard to find in general.
yeah, I'll just probably have to watch more.
Hmm.
Um, I never got the scrap hook recolor toe line.
Mm.
Um,
Axle grease.
no,
Oh?
I got axles. I never got
Oh
the
no, I'm thinking
recolor.
about the other Junkion. I'm sorry. You're talking about the
Yeah,
green boy, the green
yeah,
target boy.
yeah. I still will, but like, I mean, nothing's gonna trump the original toy for me because I still have my original toe line of that specific like robots in disguise mold, not like the Machine Wars version. Well, I think I do have the Machine Wars version now, though. It's not toe line, but it's the same toy.
Hmm.
Um, I'm obsessed with that toy in general. Like that was like a flip changer that worked perfectly. It was essentially like those figures were like a cross between a good core class figure with the weapon and a flip gimmick. So you had a perfect vehicle that you could press a button on, and then it would turn into like a little guy. The new toe line, it's the thing that like kind of catches me up is just the fact that it's like, bro, it's those same damn arms. I do not like those arms on scrap hook, axle grease, or toe line.
Mm.
They look great standing there, and they're fun to play with, and like the gimmick wise. But like the arms just don't do what I want. Like they have that weird little like bend, and it feels like you're breaking them every time you're trying to do something.
That's
Um,
fair.
but not too many Transformers outside of that, at least that I could think of. So they must not be that super important. Um, and again, I think that's like there wasn't anything else that was too crazy that I haven't put my hands on yet. Oh, which again he's in stock, but the Palace Guard Star Wars figure, I
Mm,
didn't grab him yet.
yeah.
Um,
It's just funny because that's like the fifth or sixth release of that mold, isn't it?
no, like or Plasma Guard or Magma Guard,
Oh yes,
Magna
yes.
Guard.
The Magna Guard,
Yeah,
Grievous's little booty butt
Grievous's
boys.
Guard, which is what they were called before they started the other fucking name. Um, I didn't grab that one yet,
Yeah,
which I fully intend to. So that's not even like I missed out or anything like that. And I still probably will grab the rest of these.
yeah,
Um, I'm trying to think if would there really be anything else that I missed out on? And unless you could think of something that would make sense, I don't think there is. Oh yeah, I never got the Arctic Bat yet.
mm.
That I have missed out on.
Yeah.
Um,
That's something I'd say like you need to get because it's a good figure and you're the Bat Boy.
and the thing about it is, I wanted to troop build all the colors of these, and they have proven to be incredibly difficult to get. I've
Hmm.
seen a Crimson Bat in person, and I got one online. And I think they are still in stock, but they won't go on sale anymore. And it's really starting to feel specifically targeted. Like I'm not really seeing the troop builders get any kind of like heavy discount because I think they know that people want those the most.
Well, and I mean like people are just straight up buying them in droves right off the bat.
Yeah, and I guess that could be justification, but damn it, I don't know. Like I don't, whatever, maybe. But also, I haven't seen like the Arctic bat for like less than $30. So
Yeah, I did pay 30 for mine. I don't regret it though because it's a good figure.
yeah, I might still, but like, damn it, I own so many of that figure now. Like, I am paying it. I'm paying the same amount of money again. Well, the Arctic bat has a little bit of extra stuff on it, but some of these bats have come with less.
Yeah.
Some of them don't come with like the battle damage chest anymore, but like, damn it, John Hasbro, why are you laying off 1,100 people and not, cutting some higher pays of bigger boys?
Oh yeah, that was fun getting that little bit of news in between recording the last episode of SMP and this. Gonna be interesting to see what kind of reactions when we get when that drops tomorrow for us recording this.
Yeah,
But I think
I think that's it.
that's enough stuff we wanted to get but couldn't. Let's get into some stuff we actually got. Let's do our numbers 10 through 5. And then we'll take a little bit of a break for another topic. And last year I went first on the list, so that means this year, Snowcone, you are up with your number 10.
Um, it's funny hearing you talk about one of your missed out on figures
Oh, really?
because I had to double check that I even got this one this year, and I most certainly did. But it's Tarn. Number 10 is Tarn.
Hey!
I got that shit in January or something like that.
Mm.
It was like the first month of the year. I remember I found him in person on the shelf, like immediate. I was just like, "Oh my god, it's Tarn!" I think I was standing there with Maddie. I was like, "Oh my god," like, "Holy shit, it's Tarn!" This isn't even supposed to like. I think it was like just randomly hitting like in stock online, and people were freaking out about it. Like it was starting to show up early, and I saw
Yeah.
it early or something. But like, uh, it's a uh, it's a 10 out of 10 transformer for sure.
Hmm. I've
It's one of the
I've
ones
not
I've
heard
played the
anybody say anything rude about it. Everybody's like, "Yeah, this is a perfect figure."
Yeah, I haven't seen the bludgeon in person, but I plan on getting that too because I already know it's a good figure. Like, and it's one of the best Transformers I think they've given us in a long time. Like the thing articulates like nobody's business. It felt like sometimes some of the figures we get, it feels like, there'll be one or two that like they put the budget into and like we got a 100% like developed figure, and sometimes there's a couple other ones where it feels like maybe something over here needs to go that way or should have folded up or pinned in and then doesn't. So Tarn is a well-rounded, solid son of a bitch.
Nice. Anything else to say about him, or should I go?
Um, I think that's all I've had to say about him. In between times of posing him, I've had him sitting in the Decepta chair that I got for $7 from Ollie's. That came with nothing else.
Hmm. All right. Well, my number 10 is probably going to throw you a little bit, but it is the DC Multiverse Mega Fig Mongol, who I bought literally to be an accessory for another figure we're going to talk about later on. But I ended up enjoying him so much that I was like, you know what? I got my problems with it, but maybe Multiverse ain't all bad. This is a really solid figure. The sculpt is super good. I mean, it's Todd. Todd always does a good sculpt, but the joints, like, he's not crazy posable, but he's posable enough to work as a figure of Mongol, and all the joints have really good tolerances on him. And no matter what you do with him, he looks like he's in the middle of delivering some kind of mega maniacal speech, which is really about what you want from Mongol. It's like you want that, and you want him punching Superman. And getting a solid ass Mongol figure this year, when I've been getting back into Superman comics because of the Warworld saga and all that, which I think like was mostly last year, but it wrapped up at the start of this year. It was just like kind of a right time, right place thing, and it hit me in a spot, and I was like, this ain't like, it's not a perfect figure, but it's a really really good figure that was just kind of fun to mess around with, and sometimes that's all you need.
There's a That's going to be a reoccurring theme, I think. But I mean, I get it. I definitely get it. Like looking at that figure and looking at pictures, it looks like one of the better Todd figures that could really bust a move if you wanted to. It
Mhm.
looks like it would. It's the type of design that would benefit from what other designs might have as slight downfalls with some of the more recent DC stuff. I think that's a fair choice. Honestly, it looks like a nice, intimidating beef boy.
Yeah, he do be that. But that's pretty much all we got to say on our number tens. So Snody, what be your number nine?
My number nine is the Spider-Man Far From Wait, yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home Marvel Legends Green Goblin figure.
Oh, recent boy.
Yeah, recent boy, yes. I've been waiting 20 years to have a Green Goblin action figure. I never got the original Toy Biz one, but I did have the original Toy Biz Tobey Maguire figure. I have the new Toy Biz Tobey Maguire figure, and it's a good it's a good figure. It it is a good figure, yes.
But it's
Um,
another Spider-Man. This is a character you ain't got before.
Yeah, I mean it's another Spider-Man, but there might be some other gripes about it, but I don't know. We don't It's not really important to talk about right now because I got that fucking Green Goblin and that glider is perfect. He's got the perfect little like pumpkin. You could take off the hood and you could take off the little sash and just have pretty much a classic Green Goblin with some extra little greeblies on it. Honestly though, like them giving him the hood and bringing in the mask, like I have the Willem Dafoe head, which, by the way, I did put my Willem Dafoe head on one of my other Iron Man figures, and it does fit. It looks
Nice.
pretty good on that. But honestly, like, it's just it did exactly what it was supposed to. It's got like a premium paint job on it. Like for a movie figure too. Like, I mean, I don't really buy many of them or hardly any of them. These might be some of my first ones. I don't think I own any of the other movie
The
figs from Marvel
MCUs?
Legends. Yeah, any MCU figure. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
might be
don't
my
buy
first ever
many
thing.
MCU figures, but like there's usually one or two a year that make me go, "Oh man, maybe I should be buying MCU figures. That looks pretty good."
No, I don't. I don't think I have any. I
Mm.
really don't. I think this might have been my first two, well, first five, I guess, because I bought all three Spider-Man. But no, this Green Goblin, and again, it was rough. It was rough thinking about it, putting it on here, and putting it where I did. But I made some decisions, and whatever, dude. It's here and now, and it's still. Again, this is also like, and part of my criteria, part of like my thought process with a lot of these figures is like fun had with them or place that I needed them to fill, or
Mm.
a little bit of both. And the time that I've had this Green Goblin and putting him on the glider and like, it hits a lot of buttons, and it was definitely one of those things to where like I busted him out of the box, set him on the glider, and then I was like, oh shit. What is this? 2000s? Like, have I been teleported back? I'm there again. It's the food tester at Ratatouille taking a bite out of the ratatouille. So because that's the
Nice.
name of the food. Um, Another 10 out of 10, I think.
Very clean. Okay. Well, it's funny that you have a Marvel Legends for your number nine because I do as well.
Oh,
My number nine is the Marvel Legends retro card Electra Nachios Daredevil. This is a figure that I think is going to be on a lot of people's top tens, honestly, because I just heard nothing but rave reviews about it when it came out. And I kept going back and forth on whether or not I was gonna get it because I'm like, dude, I read Daredevil every fucking month. Daredevil is like my favorite Marvel character, and I love the run where she became Daredevil. That was like the most peak it's been in a couple runs, um, and I kept going back and forth on like, well, do I want that as my Daredevil, as my Elektra on the shelf, or do I want to hunt down like a classic red costume, regular Elektra to be my Elektra on the shelf? And then I bumped into it at the store, and I was like, you know what? Everybody's saying this thing is really damn good. I'm gonna go ahead and get it, and I fucking love it. It is a 100% new sculpt, almost completely accurate to the comic. The only thing that's off is they gave her a ponytail. In the comic, she just be letting that shit fly loose and free so the artist can have fun drawing big hair. But that don't work good for articulation, so they gave her a ponytail. But it looks fantastic. It poses like a dream. All the joints have just the right amount of tension. There's it's probably the most articulation I've ever seen on a domestic female figure. And she looks great next to a regular Matt Murdock Daredevil, and that's pretty awesome. I know they put out a Matt that's specifically from that run where they were like the king and queen of the fist, and I've heard good things about that Matt. I do kind of want to get him, but right now I'm happy just having this Electra and like the free pack mat from last year next to each other on my shelf. That makes me super happy, and she's a super good figure.
see, that is a really good looking Marvel Legends figure, and I think I backed off just slightly of Marvel Legends enough for there to be a cohesive change because it seems like every like Marvel Legends figure I picked up, like most of them this year, I think came from like the crazy Target sale where the 40th stuff was hitting.
Mm.
Um, yeah, pretty much most of them, if not every single one that I've grabbed this year, has just been like an amazing figure with a beautiful sculpt. And like that's probably very similar to the Black Widow, which I got this year, which was really good. And I got that
Yeah,
Black Widow on discount. So,
I wanted
again,
to get that Black Widow, but I never saw her.
it literally would justify a $30 box because it comes with effect parts, it comes with weapons, it comes with three heads.
Yeah,
It's wild, honestly. It's great. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, it looks like a phenomenal Electra. I'd probably pick it up too if I saw it in person.
nice. All right. What's your number eight?
My number eight is uh Star Wars. What is this from? I don't even know it's the Robot Legs Darth Maul. I think it's Gaming Greats. Um, I,
Yeah.
I got this man like a week ago. Um, Darth Maul is my favorite Sith.
Do he be having like a tunic with an open chest or like a big old armor chest?
Um, oh, you're trying to figure out which figure this is?
Yeah.
Um, it's the later one where he's got it's this one. I've been posting pictures of him.
Yeah, that's the Gaming Greats Old Master Mall from
Yeah.
Battlefront 2.
And is now also my definitive Darth Maul because the only other one that I own was the Gaming Greats from like last year, I think. Ew.
Yeah, the
But
one
it was
that's just a reuse of that original Wave 1 body.
yeah. And that thing sucks. And
Mhm.
like I mean when they give us like a deluxe regular Darth Maul with like the speeder or something like that, I'll like freak out and that'll probably make the list next year if we get that over this next year or something. But like till then, like this thing is dope. I've always wanted the robot legs. His saber's great. I can't really think of anything that I'd want out of this outside of maybe a different like head for a different expression, which is something I don't think we've ever gotten in Star Wars. But like, just only having like that grimace when like Darth Maul, I've always known to just be so like calm faced when fighting, and then like only when talking does he do that. Like, I don't know. I mean, he does that a lot anyways. I'm just it's a personal gripe, but it's like it's what I got right here, and the robot legs do work out really well. He poses like a dream, and it's again one of those things where it really feels like they dialed that shit in. Um, and I honestly caved to get him because I wasn't gonna pay the $27, but then I had like some discount coupons. Like I had like my $5 thing, and like I think it came down to like 25, so I got it for 20, and I was like, fine, so be it. And I regret not picking it up right from the rip, uh, because the thing is phenomenal.
Yeah, I had the Clone Wars mall. That's basically that same body. I think there's just a few different pieces. And it is a really, really good fucking figure. I just ended up having to resell that because I lost one of the lightsaber hilts and he was basically unplayable without them. So I was like, I'm gonna sell this guy and I'll either track down another one or get Old Master Mall at a later date. And that was like 2 months ago, and I still haven't done that. So it's good to know that that one's really good too, though. So I may go ahead and grab that at some point soon.
Yeah, see, the Clone Wars figure would be cool to grab, um, for me, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah,
There's something between this character and the Gaming Greats other figure that I have, where the shades of red are completely different, and it seems
mm,
to be the case between those two as well. I much like I much prefer a more vibrant red Maul, and that's what this one brings.
fair
Um,
enough.
but it's good to know that they're both good, and then the one that I have as a spare is just trash. But
I still think that old Wave One body was really good for its time, but it has not aged well.
2010,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's 13 years old. Get it out of here.
All right. Well, my number 8 is going to be the Transformers Legacy Evolution Commander Class Armada Universe Optimus Prime.
Well, well, well.
I was like sweating bullets when you were talking about him earlier, because here's the thing. I've been very kind of lukewarm to what the fuck on a lot of the Legacy Armada stuff. This is the one that I feel like actually does the job because it's taking a toy that kind of accidentally ruined itself for the sake of a gimmick, and it strips that gimmick out and replaces it with articulation and makes it a fantastic figure in doing so. Because the original Armada Prime, his trailer was just panels that like automatically flipped around to form legs. There's like a proper transformation and everything, and all of the modes are super articulated and really, really fun to mess around with. Nice big chunky boy. He actually fucking feels like an Armada figure, dude. He's got the fucking ratchets to prove it. Um, and all the little like extra details, like the hidden minicon symbols in his shoulders and the matrix and whatnot, make it feel like it's worth the $80 price tag. I do think, yeah, they probably could have chucked in some blast effects and they could have done a little bit more with the base mode, but otherwise I think it's a great figure and it's definitely my favorite legacy figure of the year.
That's very interesting. Um, Again, like I know it's going to be good, and I need to grab it. I keep like forgetting to get it every single time. I'm like, ready because I'll always be thinking about the next thing, and my brain doesn't work right sometimes. Um, but I do completely plan, and like that's literally it. By the way, I don't care that the gimmicks are gone. I just feel like it should have had like at least another effect part, or like the gun broke down in a different way, or something like that. Because
Mhm. I wish he had his fucking you could take the smokestacks off and make them a pistol on the original one. You
yeah,
can't with
see,
this.
like I used to love that, and like it played in with the gimmick that was in the hand because it would light up, but like still, like
You'd think it would work fine with the fucking 5 mil system.
I know, like that's what I'm saying. Like almost every character has a 5 mil port in their forearm, and like it's literally already there as guns for them. And I was excited at first to think about that. And it doesn't really matter too much, but it's like it's very strange to see it missed in that way. Like,
He is
dude, like there's a
also he is also held back a little bit, I think, just by the fact that there was that prototype years ago that got us all excited, and then this thing leaked super early and like leaked in full HD. We knew everything about this before it came out, and I don't know about you, but I got so hyped up about it that by the time I actually got it in hands, even though it is still a really good toy, I was a little let down. It took me a couple days to like fully come to terms with like, no, this is a good toy. I just got too excited.
Yeah, and maybe there's a little bit of that going on as well. Um, I have a very soft spot for that very particular design of Prime because I have the really nice I guess he's called Bendy Prime figure
Mm-hmm.
from Armada, and I also have my original uh, Armada Prime, and then I have the whatever Spark bullshit recolor Prime.
Power links.
And then I have another Armada Prime that someone gave me that like some of the bits are like it's incomplete, but it's around.
Mm.
Um, so I've got him. He's around. Like there's two of them behind me. I love him to death. So like also, I guess that kind of went into it as well, where it's like, man, it's like I'd love to see that figure again, but like for Megatron, I never had the Megatron, and it was dope to bust that Megatron out and like experience that, or like I never had a Green Goblin. But I've been had that damn Armada Mega or that Armada Prime like still, he was never not around. I've been staring at him since like he came out and I got him for my birthday one year. He's
Mm.
maintained a shelf spot somewhere, like always.
That's totally
But
fair.
I still do want it very much so. And maybe that's my Christmas gift to myself this year. So
Yeah, if you can find him for like 10, 15, $20 off, he's definitely going to be much more worth it. I don't
very
know.
good.
We'll see what the day after Christmas sales bring.
Oh, true
But
that, true that.
for right now, what is your number 7?
My number seven is what is the X-Men line? 86?
97.
97. Ooh, I put that on here wrong. Uh, Marvel Legends 97 Wolverine. Um,
Hey.
it's the best one they did. And I've also never had a Wolverine in the exact fucking costume that I wanted, damn it.
Hmm.
I've got so many almost Wolverines. I
See,
got like two really
I've got
good
the
West
Apocalypse
American.
Wave one, which is basically that costume, and I love him. But even I have looked at that thing in store several times and gone, man, maybe I should replace him. This looks really good.
So I've almost bought that Apocalypse one because that's the heat claws, right?
No, that's the classic '90s Tiger Stripe suit.
Oh. Okay, yeah, no, that's a fair fight then. Um, if that was the Heat Claws versus this one, I'd say definitely go for it. The masks in this one are incredible. The claws are amazing. He is perfectly tiny. I've had
How
him.
are them claws, by the way? Are they like were they all misformed when you got them out of the box?
No, one was like kind of bent, but it's the type of plastic to where like hot water in a coffee cup doesn't really. It takes it like
Okay.
2 seconds, so like it's not hard.
Okay, because I
It's
remember
the
the old
same.
Wolverine mold had real shitty claws.
Yeah, like I have my best Wolverine prior to him was the smiling one, the brown suit,
Yeah.
um, which I'd
And see,
love to see this.
I have that body, but it's in the tiger stripe colors, and I bought third party metal claws for him.
Fair enough. Um, but no, like this was another one of the figures to where like I saw it in store, and I was like, I think it was a reward or something like that. I don't even know. Like I think I'd done really good that week, and I was like, you know what, I fucking I want something, and then I busted the corner, and I was like, oh shit, fucking Wolverine's right here, dude, watch out, like. And it was one of those to where like it was like little me as well, like oh shit, dude, there's a Wolverine right there, like the perfect one. Grab it real quick. And I took it home, busted it open, and guess what? It might be perfect. I think it is. They definitely got the scale down right. Um, man, like some of these Marvel Legends have been scaling beautifully with each other. Um, and I'm not sure if there is much else I can say about it other than the masked head is perfect, and the unmasked head I think is just even better. Honestly, and they got his hair down, and we get all the options we want with him.
Nice. Well, maybe I'll have to loop back around and get that then. But for right now, I'm just marveling at the fact that twice in a row we've both had a Marvel Legends pick on the same number. My number 7 is the Marvel Legends San Diego Comic Con exclusive Deadpool and Bob the Hydra Agent 2 pack, which to me is just the epitome of everything good Legends is doing right now. Like it's a perfect evergreen look for Deadpool. It both these figures are on like pretty freaking new, just came out last year bodies that are super nice and super articulated. They come with a crap ton of accessories, some of which are super keyed into who they are, some of which are just fun extras. And like, yeah, it's kind of weird putting an exclusive thing on my list, but like we did that with friggin' Serpentor last year, and this year I'm just like I was having so much fun posing these guys around when I first got them out. Like I barely know who Bob is. I don't give a fuck about him, but I love that Vulcan body, dude. I need more figures on that Vulcan body bad because right now I just got him in Black Panther. Just a fantastic 2 pack, and I don't know what else to say except more like this, Hasbro, please.
Yeah, and see, I never got around to him. I don't even think I have a Deadpool yet.
Mm.
I don't actually. I need to because I missed out on the other Deadpool.
Yeah. See, I used
Um,
to have the old Comic Con exclusive Deadpool, which was based on the original Liefeld art, and that was a good figure. I just ended up reselling it because he wasn't super important to me, and I needed money for something at the time. And I was like, "Oh man, this is coming out. It's on 2 bodies I really like, and I haven't had a Deadpool in a minute. Let me get them." And then it was like, "Whoa, best Legends of the year!"
I I agree with it though. I mean, Bob is cool. Bob's from Jacksonville, canonically, I think, right?
I'd have to check.
I know they make the joke in the Deadpool movies, but I'm not so sure on outside of that. But no, I mean that's definitely a good strong choice. I wanted to go pick that up myself, but I never really got around to it. Um, why is it that I don't go after the Deadpool figures like I want to?
I don't know.
Hmm. I mean, I'm sure not getting that exact set now, so let me ignore that. Well, I mean, it's all right. It'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll live. I've lived this long. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um,
There'll be more Deadpools. I mean, it's fucking Marvel Legends. They're gonna make a new Deadpool every 6 months.
yeah. Although, have they recently?
This is the most recent one they've made, and this was 5 months ago. I want to say.
Hmm. I don't know. I need to use the bathroom real quick.
Okay, we'll take a break.
All right. Sorry about that. That was quicker than trying to mute myself because I couldn't figure it out again on Discord.
Yeah, that's fine. But it is your turn. So, sir, what is your number 6?
Well, my number 6 is something that we've both communicated about
Okay.
um, a little bit, but I don't know where you thought I was going to put this, but I definitely put it somewhere. Number 6 is I think this is a retro card back. Yeah, the retro card back Star Wars: The Black Series R2D2.
Hey.
Um, I mean, it's great. It's perfect. I wish it did have like the little flip out jets, but one of my biggest gripes, I think, with Black Series in general right now versus like what we'll get with Marvel Legends or with like, GI Joe is we have the body. They're going to give us screen specific versions of this character as opposed to giving me a all arounder, even though I know he should have the jets in there. They should work still, but whatever. So minor gripes for me because I do still have. Where is that other R2 I have? It's like a little baby R2 from like episode 3, and he does all of the gimmicks.
Hmm.
But until that day, I've waited a very long time to have a Black Series Astromech droid. Give me every fucking redesign and color of this mold that you can. I will buy all of them. They're gonna get
Yeah.
their own shelf. It's gonna be next to the Iron Man shelf. I'll put the rest of my Star Wars droids on there because I've been waiting to really kick that shit off and really start up my Star Wars droid shelf. But they just have not been giving me what I want as much as I can or as much as I needed. So to finally have a sweet little baby boy and the proper proportions. And now I think this is better than the Mayfex and the other ones or whatever and the model kits. Like I think this is my preferred R2D2 in this scale or anything close to it. Like, period. I don't like any of the other designs. This is the only one that sits right with me.
Yeah, I mean it's a near perfect R2D2 figure. Really, the only things I think you could change is, like you said, giving it the little jets or giving it the color change gimmick that the SH Figuarts has. But I think that's like chucking another $10 on the price right there. As is, he's fucking wonderful. I don't have him anywhere on my list, and I probably would have had I been making this podcast with anyone else, because I knew he was going to be on your list, so I was like, okay, I can cut him for something else because I know Cody will have him on his list, and then I can at least talk about him a little bit because I do love that figure.
And see, what's funny is outside of that, even Madison, my partner, said essentially the same thing. Like when I was racking my brain about some of these things and where I was putting who, um, there is something to say about where I've put this R2D2 on this list, because there is not even a scale of the R2D2 figures that I do have. R2D2 has been my favorite Star Wars character since I could live and breathe and saw anything. I was like, what is that? That right there? That's it. That robot? That's it. And that's how it started. It was over. It was over before it started, and that's how it started. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, I have like little baby ones, big ones, like a multitude of like Lego R2D2s, which is another one of my like side favorite things. Is like it's one of my favorite minifigures is R2D2.
I mean,
Um,
R2 is just like up there with Optimus Prime and Voltron as like some of the greatest robot designs of all time.
Yeah, I think when I move and really get to dial in like displaying things and having it be more spread out throughout a house, I'm definitely going to have a shrine to the robot designs I love the most. And this figure will probably stand next to a definitive edition of RoboCop, Optimus Prime, Iron Man, and a bunch of others. Whoever I think fits the best there. But um, I mean, there's not much else I could say about it. The reason why he is number 6 is because, yes, it's great. Yes, it's amazing. It took too damn long.
Yeah.
And that is two things on this list.
They ran that Wave 1 R2 mold into the fucking ground, and by like the second release, we all knew it was the wrong size.
Honestly, I just realized that this is two Wave 1, like the only two Black Series figures on this entire list. Both are things I've been waiting since the first wave of Black Series.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely insane. Because I remember seeing that R2D2 and immediately being no, like, no. Um, Man, that's unfortunate. But good that we have them now, and that they've already came out and been like, all right, the next one's going to be a red one or something. And I don't
Yeah,
care.
we got R5D4, I think it is, the guy who was in Mando season 3 a lot, and then also the astromech, I don't remember its name at all, but the one that belonged to Grief Karga in a couple episodes. Those two are coming.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. There is no criteria. If it comes out and is a different droid, it will be owned.
Yeah. I will say though, I really want them to do frickin' I forget what its full designation is, but R4 from episode 3, Obi-Wan's astromech from the opening scene, who gets fucking decapitated.
Oh,
Gets,
yeah.
his whole face gets pulled off. That scene is like one of the first Star Wars scenes that ever like left a really good impression on me.
Yeah, it left an impression on me. Uh, I was very upset. And that's again, he's my favorite. R2D2 has been my favorite figure, and like one of the things I'm really hoping for with the Star Wars Droid show is I really want him to dive into the like above all other fandoms and canons, and there's definitely something going on with like the continuous disrespect of droids and the obvious sentience and uniqueness and like souls essentially that the droids can hold within Star Wars. Uh, so no, I did not like R5 or R4 dying in that one.
No.
Anytime I've seen like the droids hurt, I was just like, damn. It's like if a dog's gonna die in a movie, like don't even show it to me. I don't give a shit. Like, oh, people died. Oh, damn, that sucks. Dog, fuck you, movie creator. Get out of my face. No, no thanks.
That's fair. That's totally fair. All right. My number 6 marks a bit of a transition point in my list, I want to say, because this is where it goes from like, this is a really cool thing. They executed this really well. I like this a lot, to yes, that, but also there's a bit of a sentimental reason for me putting this on the list and this high on the list. I think most of the things on the rest of my list have sort of a real reason for being there beyond just being good. So my number 6 is the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 39, Target exclusive, Tiger Force Outback, who's probably my favorite classified series of the year. I only have one other one on the list, and it's in my honorable mentions. But this guy is just like everything classified series should be doing, in my opinion. It's taking a goofy old design and it's improving it in a bunch of ways while still staying true to the original that just make it really appealing and fun. He's got a lot of cool, characterful accessories that you wouldn't see with most other lines. Like the shovel and the flashlight are just so neat. His little gun is really solid, and he's one of those figures where you take him out of the package and immediately you've got a million ideas for how to pose him. Like he demands to be taken outside and photographed. Um, and above that, there's also the fact that because our usual rule is anything we bought, whether it came out this year or not, as long as we got it between Christmas of last year and the day we're recording this year, which is December 13th. So this wasn't in last year's list because I didn't have it when we recorded last year, but it was my Christmas gift from you last year. And that just puts it a little bit above a few other Joes I could have given this slot to. The fact that it's a gift from the guy I do this with every year and who is one of my best buds.
Oh, hell yeah. I don't know, I definitely love that Outback figure. He is really good. Um I'm I don't know, man, like because for me, uh I didn't even get the regular release of the Outback.
Oh, same
What is
here.
it?
This guy, if you get him, he like nullifies a need for the regular release.
Yeah, I know, and it's like because I was never connected with Outback. I just like these designs, but a white shirt saying survival on it versus an orange shirt with a tiger on it, and he's got the beautiful gray hair. Like they did something different with this, and I appreciate the shit out of it. Like it's got a certain style to it that I'm not saying is missing from other releases. Because dare I ever say anything's missing out of a GI Joe figure? No. But it has something that sets it apart. It's like they did something a little bit different, a little bit more unique than normal.
Hmm.
Um,
And I mean, I just remembered it also helps that I live in South Carolina and we have one of our major college football teams here is the Clemson Tigers, and their colors are fucking orange and yellow, I think, or maybe orange and black. So there's like shirts that look exactly like his shirt that I see people wearing all the time here.
that's cool. That is very cool. That'd be like a Florida Gators something related. I
Yeah.
guess last year with Fiona, which was a crocodile, but whatever. Um,
Mhm.
uh, no, that's funny though. His arm hair, the arm hair detail on that figure, blows my mind.
Right?
So,
Just
and
such a good sculpt.
I have one of those flashlights. I never, as like a younger kid, because I would always go into like surplus stores. I never knew why that flashlight was designed the way it was. It took like a few years to understand that it was meant to be worn while used and not
Mhm.
necessarily held. Like I just thought that the long handle, I was like, that's stupid. Why would you put the light up there?
Why would you
Um,
bend it forward? Don't you want to point it?
Yeah, like because like I knew you'd still have to hold it forward, so I'm like, it's not even like a gun or anything. Like the light's all the way up there. It doesn't make sense. Um, but yeah, I appreciate that being included in it. Like it really does feel like he has the survival kit
Yeah.
like packed in with him.
He's got the perfect vibe. Um, but that is my number 6. So who or what is your number 5?
My number five is a departure for our non seemingly nonstop Hasbro Levathon, I guess.
Yeah.
which I try not to, but this year was a little bit rougher, but still,
Hmm.
I enjoyed plenty of different things. There was other things I thought about putting in on here that'll be covered in honorable mentions, but my number five was the. Let me think for a second. This is going to be the Mattel Metal Racers. No, that's not correct. The Cars, the Disney Pixar Cars on the Road, Mattel Metal Mini Racers, Dino Cars, or whatever. I don't even know what their actual names are.
Oh yeah, you were flipping out on about these boys on a components once, weren't you?
So yeah, well, I freaked out a little bit. I think I've asked y'all like at the beginning of the year or maybe like sometime last year. I was trying to have everybody be on the lookout because it was just something that's like these little dinosaur cars. I'm like, I need them in my life. I need like the something about like the little cutesy car designs of the cars minis is like the perfect thing. And I've gone without throughout most of the year because you can't really buy them online. You have to buy them in Target. Otherwise, you're paying $14 versus $6 for a pack of three.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, my Target started getting more in, and I got to pick them up, and like it was everything I wanted. It really was. Like I saw these designs. One's like a little bus. One kind of looks like a dump truck, and then one's like a little beetle-looking guy with a stegosaurus tail. I am over the moon with these things. Like there's something like just deep within me that like I got it, held it in my hand, and I was like, this is it. This is what I wanted. I wanted it like there's some other connection there where I'm like the shapes, the designs, it's just there.
Nice.
It's hard to
Is there a particular one that you would call like your favorite?
it's hard. It's gonna be between the one that looks like the Volkswagen bus, who's got the horn and the dual tailpipes. It's probably if I had to pick honestly, I would say the blue one. Does he have his name on the bottom of them? They have silly little names, anyways. I don't know. It would be the blue one. I'll take a picture of him with R2D2 here in a second.
Yeah. I was looking at Google Images, but I mean, we'll also I don't know how I'm gonna do it this year because the whatever, but like it's one of us will have a group shot that will be the thumbnail, and the other will have a group shot that will be the episode image. So either way, people will be able to see what the things we're talking about are if they know how to look.
Very well. Um, but yeah, I think that's all I really could say about these sweet little babies, other than like they're the perfect little sized car, and it's just one of those things. It's like the shapes. I don't know, like some of my favorite characters are like Bulkhead from animated, and like just like just I really there's so many more I can go in on that, but it's like I like these like sometimes I really just dig like a rounded shape, like like Kirby or R2D2, and like a lot of his shapes that's essentially just like what this was for me. I'm like, oh, it's a cute little tiny thing with really good paint, really good detail. They have little stone wheels because this is in a flashback where Mater and Lightning McQueen like are at a natural history museum, so we're seeing a bunch of dinosaur cars. So it's like prehistoric cars with stone tires, and it's just silly and fun. I don't know. Um, they're great, and they're always charming and unique when it comes to new cars designs, anyways. But these are just something I've never gotten to see before with Cars Universe.
Nice. Well, my number five is also going to be a bit of a departure. Uh, it is the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron number 63, Series Free V Wing Starfighter.
Ooh.
This is an interesting thing for me because I mean there's been a lot of really good releases from Micro Galaxy Squadron this year. The fucking Coruscant Battle Pack alone rocked my socks off, but this one is like I wouldn't say it's like my favorite ship design, but it's a ship I have a lot of sentimental attachment to because it was the clone army bomber alike in the original PlayStation 2 Star Wars Battlefront 2, which was a game I played almost constantly as a kid. I absolutely loved that game. This like the space combat wasn't super amazing, But I did love just like getting in the bomber and ignoring all the fighters to just go and like bomb the other capital ship. That was always my strategy. I would do that, and then I would go in and just shoot people in the enemy hangar. And so I spent a lot of time in the bomber ships that they had in those games, and I played the clone army the most because I was the most into clones as a kid. So getting an actual physical representation of that ship for the first time as an adult, because I also think this was my first Lego Star Wars set. I could be wrong, but I do remember having the original set of this starfighter that they released at the time episode 3 released. Um and I liked that set a lot as a kid. Um Lost all the pieces to it within like a year though. But this is just like a really nice little recreation of that design. It all the bits you would want to move, the little blast shield for the astromech and the wings all move exactly as they should. It's got a nice little bit of landing gear. Comes with the correct clone pilot that is like the weirdly realistic with like the half open helmet design that they only did in that movie. Love that. And there's actually a nice weathering job on it. Like, not something super neat like you'd get from a customizer, but like they did a decent little dry brush on it that doesn't look like the friggin' Transformer Siege. We're just gonna put a regular ass paint pattern on it and call it battle damage weathering. Um, I really like this thing. It's just a solid little pick it up and swoosh it and remember good times sitting in my bedroom playing a Star Wars video game as a kid kind of a thing.
That's a chase.
Is it?
It's not a regular release, it's a chase.
I saw two in a Walmart the other day. They've been like everywhere here.
That's what I was seeing just a second ago. If I was looking at it, I can't really find online listings of any of these in the way that I was hoping for.
Yeah, it's been weird how they've been showing up on the Amazon.
I still haven't seen that fucking Bunta Eve pack in person, but I'm just gonna
It
end
doesn't
up
say it's a
grabbing one.
chase anywhere on the package.
I just saw a picture showing the V-wing as a
Are you sure you're looking at the V Wing and not like one of the Y Wing repaints?
no, it's the V-wing is the one with the upwards fins in the back and also the downward fins, right? Hang
Kinda,
on.
yeah. I'm looking at the box right now. I don't see Chase anywhere on it. Like this is the thing, right? In the chat?
V-wing. Yeah, hang on. Google, show me this guy's balls. Yeah, that thing.
It's in
Yeah,
stock on Amazon right now.
I didn't even see it on Amazon when I just scrolled through. That's weird.
Yeah, it's like $16 on Amazon. I think I paid 15 in Walmart. Or not. Copy the goddamn link, you stupid. There we go. So yeah, you can go buy him now on Amazon. I don't think he's a Chase. I don't know where you're seeing that.
Let me I'll find the picture again. It just showed it was like when they announced it, like they showed it as like chase or variant, but maybe they just changed their mind.
Yeah, I know there is a chase in that wave that I wanted. I think they had Ayla Sakura's Jedi Starfighter or Interceptor, whatever it is.
Yeah. I tell you, if more of these start hitting Ross, I'm gonna lose my mind. They've
Yeah.
had the gunships in there, and I've like really ignored them because I already do like Star Wars Lego ships sometimes, and I have like other scale Star Wars ships, mostly micro machines.
Mm.
Um, and these kind of remind me of that. Like they're definitely. I still have some. I have like the Tie Fighter and some of the little guys, but
Yeah, okay, so he's
um,
in Series 3, and the chases for Series 3 are Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter. Well, actually, technically, he's a rare, because they have a rare and a chase. Uh, is this Series 3? Yes, Poe Dameron's X-Wing, and General Grievous's Starfighter, which that one pissed me off. That's the droid army bomber in that game. So I want that one just as much. And I mean it's Grievous, who's one of my favorite Star Wars villains. So if I had been able to find that, that probably would be in this spot. But I haven't fucking seen it anywhere, and I'm probably not gonna for a decent price.
fair enough. I
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't know.
$50 on eBay right now.
Yeah, I'll probably end up grabbing it. It's still like the detail they put in some of these. It's still like hard to ignore.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and
right now I
when
do have a really good little display going. Got a good little Republic versus Separatist army display, and that's all I really need. Just a few ships.
the Millennium Falcon 2 TIE Fighters is on sale for $19.
Oh yeah, the Return of the Jedi version.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard to ignore deal right there, dude. I don't
I
know.
will say I got the original Millennium Falcon in an after Christmas sale for $25, and it's a phenomenal toy. It's like the perfect Millennium Falcon toy if you don't want like articulated figures that can go in it. But the Millennium Falcon is a design that it's like I like it, I respect it, I don't love it. So couldn't get onto my top 10 honestly.
Fair enough. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to not like a Star Wars ship. That's kind of the whole thing about him, I guess.
Yeah, Star
And
Wars is the sci-fi franchise you get into for the ship battles.
when they do like the MTT and they give me like 20 little pack-in droids, that's when
Yeah.
you'll see me like, hey, I randomly bought 16 of these, so watch out.
Mhm. Well, the funny thing is with this line, they never give you enough pack-in guys to fully fill out the vehicle unless it's one of the one-person vehicles. So I think if they do the MTT, it's going to be like you got to buy like 3 or 4 of them to fully pack out one of them.
Maybe. We will see, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, that does it for the first half of our main lists. But now it's time to do honorable mentions. And with honorable mentions, we limit ourselves to 5 or less. And we're going to try and go rapid fire. It's not going to be like a discussion of each item. It's going to be here's the thing, here's why I like it, here's why it couldn't make the main list. Um, yeah, Cody, take it away with your honorable mentions.
All right, my first honorable mention is kind of hard to place um, because I really wanted to put the Mutant Mayhem Raphael figure on here because that's the only turtle I managed to pick up. I have not gone to get the rest of those, but I did get the full set of baby turtle.
The turtle tots.
Yeah, because you just buy two, they're Target exclusive. I cannot bring myself to open them, so that's part of why they didn't make it to the list. Because they're just kind of like perfectly cute and adorable in their little boxes. Um, and two, I mean, it was just like I if I couldn't open it, I didn't really mess around with it. I did mess around with Raph a lot, and I've kind of given him Hawkeye's like speeder bike thing for some reason because he looks really good on it. But I didn't feel like it squeezed enough on there for me to really squeeze it into my overall list. Um, and do you want me to? Are we going to go back and forth on these, or you want me to just rail them all through?
Just rail them all through.
All right. So then up next, I would say would probably be my Iron Men that I picked up this year that I've been playing around with. That being the Extremis and the Alex Ross design. I think I like the Alex Ross design the most, and I think it actually might be my favorite Iron Man Marvel Legends I have. A lot of people don't like that design, but that is a really good fucking figure. Like that figure is just good. Just painted as a robot, whatever, dude. Like that thing is just amazing to handle. And that was in the collector wave, I believe, the Build a Figure wave. Um, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Then let me just double check that I'm not like missing anything else or not thinking of anything else properly. Um, the next one would be a GI Joe. It would be Bazooka. I really wanted to squeeze him in on the full list. I love Bazooka to death, but I struggled so hard trying to get that figure to the arm wasn't properly assembled in the box, and he's got some real thick ass beefy arms and even thicker, beefier ass like mushroom pegs. And the hole you have to feed, like force the mushroom peg through, it took a lot. All right, I got some pretty strong upper body strength, and like son of a bitch, dude, it took me working on it a while to really get it in there. I had to get it boiling hot. and I kept like just reheating it and going back and forth and trying to work it back and forth while trying not to rip this thing apart. And it really fucked with me because I was so excited to bust this box open to have this bazooka figure that I've always wanted. Um, and it really detracted from me, not from the figure itself. The figure is still quality, but like, damn it, like that's the only real bad like side effect I've had on any of the GI Joe figures I got this year. But I don't know. I just feel like I couldn't really get it. I couldn't get over that. And the last honorable mention that I can uh, really bring up outside of any, I mean, everything else is pretty much there. And I already talked about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I haven't had enough time with him to really know how I feel about it yet. I don't think some of these other ones are pretty clear cut. The final one, though, which I went back and forth, and I thought he was going to make it to the list because he made it here on time, but it'd be Magnius.
Hmm.
Transformers Legacy United, whatever the fuck, not Rock Lords Infernac universe, but it's actually Rock Lords Magnius. The figure's great. It's amazing. Um, I just, I don't know. I really couldn't muster it onto the same list. It really didn't feel like it set well where it's at right now. And I don't think it would make it to top 10 by next year because I figure I'm probably going to have some other shit that's going to look a little bit different than that that'll easily beat it. Um, but I still wanted to squeeze it in on here just because I do think that is yet another 10 out of 10 figure for me. But I think that's it for honorable mentions. There might have been a few Lego sets I didn't get, but nothing that I'm really hurt.
All
I
right.
mean, well, it wouldn't be honorable mention. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, you're okay. Yeah, no, all that stuff sounds super good. My honorable mentions are going to be the NECA TMNT Mirage Return to New York Jim Lawson. We got to call it Suffin to differentiate it from those old ones 4-pack. Really, really, really good action figures, but they're just not my versions of the Turtles, and there's better stuff I've gotten this year. And Super 7 just recently announced that they're going to be doing the O Free Turtles, which is probably the closest to a version of the Turtles that I can call my version of the Turtles. So, in all honesty, unless those look like total dog shit when they get revealed, I'm gonna resell this 4-pack and invest in that line because that's more along the lines of the turtle look I want. Even though these are really good, they have a really cool style to them, and they directly appeal to me just in having such solid articulation for such bulky, beefy designs. Um, SH Figure Arts Shinchokuseiho Gokai Red. I really wanted to have this figure on the main list. I really wanted to like it enough to justify that, but it's just a little awkward in some spots. It's just a little off from what I would have wanted, and it actually has a fucking build quality issue across the board that, and anything like that keeps an item off of my list. So I don't know. It's rough because like Gokaiger's my favorite Sentai, and it was super cool to finally get a updated SH Figure Arts of the main guy. But GI Joe Classified Series Torpedo. I didn't even fucking want this guy when he got revealed. I was like, nah, I don't care about Torpedo. Call me when Wetsuit gets announced. But I
Yep.
ended up getting him just because he was on a shelf one day when I was in a store, and he like knocked my friggin' socks off. Absolutely love all the accessories and how they work together. Just a super fun figure to mess around with, even if you know next to nothing about the character. But I only had room for one classified series on the main list this year, and that was going to be Outback. The Kamen Rider Geo DX Neo Deca Driver. Uh, Really cool toy, super awesome like soundboard of all the different Kamen Rider transformation sounds. It's crazy that they were able to jam that many more sounds into a toy that was essentially 10 years old when this thing came out back in 2019. And it was one of the few things where I like backtracked and got it this year just because like I'd wanted it forever and I had the opportunity to. But I don't know. I wasn't able to like fit it onto the list for one reason or another. And my final honorable mention is the Rescue Heroes Voice Tech Fire Truck, which I got for frickin' $10 at Toy Federation because the electronics are borked. But it's still a great toy without that because it's just a big fun vehicle for your rescue heroes. It's got a swiveling cannon on top. It's got ladders. It has a really nice feel to its rolling action. And honestly, it's just been a joy that whenever my nephew comes over to the house now, that's like the main thing he goes and grabs is he will get that and just run up and down the hallways with it. It is a joy to see a kid do that. But because the electronics are borked and because there's better things that came out this year, I wasn't able to fit it onto the list. And that's my honorable mentions.
I think we both mentioned some things pretty honorably.
How about that? All right, Cody, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is the Destroyer. Right, he's the Destroyer from the 40th anniversary Thor 2-pack.
60th anniversary, but yes.
60th anniversary, whatever. That Destroyer figure, I bought this when it was on. It was one of the things hitting like absolutely batshit incredible, insane Target discounts. And I got it just because I kind of wanted the Thor, and I figured the Destroyer would be neat. I was wrong. That might be one of the best Marvel Legends I've ever put my hands on, and I couldn't stop fucking with him throughout the entire time I've had him sitting on the shelf. He's got like the Thor is great, by the way. That's like one of the best Thor. I have like the other cool Thor that they released like a couple years ago. This one's better than that one, and something about it just really strikes true with my heart. But that Destroyer figure, it towers. It really shows you the scale that they've really pushed with some of these Marvel Legends. Because I have him standing next to a an Iron Man and a Wolverine right now, and Wolverine size. It comes up to about like dick height, and then Iron Man is just pretty average, and he's still taller even the Thor, which is massive. He's got a hand specifically designed to hold the hammer to like catch Mjolnir. Um, and there's just something about the posing on this figure, and like there's an actual like wash over him. He's got white eyes with black outlines. Like there's detail on this thing. I thought it was going to be a straight plastic toy, and there is paint and detail squeezed into everywhere, and I was just so surprised by it.
That's
And
amazing.
that's kind of what I expected with the Iron Man, with the classic Mark One Iron Man. And I was just looking at some shots that I've not looked at before, and I think I might have made a mistakey poo on that one. But this figure right here is a massive, chunky thing that is just a joy to mess around with. It's cool to pose. The way it like actually articulates both with its like midriff and just the thigh cuts and everything like that. You just can look straight down like at people, and you can really play up the whole like fact that it's like a living armor thing. It's just a weapon, so it just locks on. It looks, and it's like it really gets dialed in with this figure. It feels like I don't know. Maybe it's because it's also big stompy robot thing, but who cares? Like the thing is dope. It was fun to handle, great to look at. It's very impressive, and I didn't expect it. It was worth the full asking price, I would say, and I got it for a discount.
Yeah, I did really want that 2-pack back when it got announced, and I saw it on Target shelves on a payday. Like, I think they were putting out that whole friggin' wave at my Target that day. And I was like, man, this looks really good, but that price is a little spicy. Why don't I wait and see if I can get it on clearance? And then it went on clearance literally 2 weeks later when I didn't have money for it, and I never saw it again. So I still want it. I would still probably grab it if I could find it for at least original retail, but I ain't seen that in a minute.
There's one in a GameStop near my house.
Mm.
It's been there.
If it's still there in February, that is probably the next time I'll be able to afford something like that.
No.
Because I think I told you this at one point, but I get paid early in December because our HR department takes off for a long time right at like the week before Christmas. So I'm going to get paid on like the 21st or the 22nd, but then I won't get paid again until the end of January. So I got to be real careful with my money for the next month.
Well, that's scary.
Hmm. But
Um,
anything else about him?
no. If it's discounted at that GameStop, I'll go back tomorrow or something like that to check. I'll just buy it for you. So that'll be the present. But don't
Oh,
get your hopes up because I think they've been pretty bad at discounting things relative to other places.
yeah. I'm trying not to get my hopes up for anything Christmas wise this year. It's one of those years, you know.
Well, you're definitely getting some from me. I just haven't figured out what it is still.
All right, all right. I trust you though. I trust you. My number four is going to be kind of a representative of a whole thing that's been happening with me this, and really it was kickstarted with this specific thing, which is the Mythic Legion's Malleus figure. I have been eyeballing and kicking the tires on Mythic Legions pretty much since it started. I think it's a really cool line. It's a lot of money for a 6-inch action figure, no matter how much stuff it comes with or how much paint is on it. But my local vintage toy store, Toy Federation, got a deal with the Four Horsemen where now they're an official retail for all things Legions. So like they will get straight up multiple cases of each wave as they come out now. Um, and the day they got their first shipment, they made a post about it on social media, and I had just gotten paid a couple days beforehand, and I was like, that's amazing. I love that for you guys. I've been wanting to get into that line for a while. Why don't I go grab a couple, make that my big toy spend this month as a way of supporting you guys and finally checking out this line? And I got Malleus, who is a skeleton man, and one of the goblins. And I've gotten a couple more Mythic Legions since then, but I think Malleus is still my favorite, just because like he's such a perfect skeleton knight guy. He comes with pretty much all the accessories I would want. He's got optional armor parts. He's got two big battle axes that you can also make into double battle axes. He's got a sword. He's got a dagger. He's got the new because they have two different versions of their skeleton body, and the second version, which he is on, has an opening jaw on the skull. So posing him is just super fun. You can do all kinds of fun things to change him up and make him look different, and the joints. There's not like the articulation is definitely a little bit behind the times in terms of just like modern advancements we've had since this line started, but there is so much range on the joints he does have that you can get just about any pose you want. You can get him looking a little silly, a little creepy, a little scary. He's great. And furthermore, he kind of awakened something in me that's just continued going all this year of like I spent a lot of my life going like there's a couple properties I like, but overall fantasy's not really for me. I'm more of a sci-fi guy. And I got this guy and I was like, I've always low-key wanted a skeleton action figure, and this guy fits the bill pretty good. And I've always low-key wanted a goblin, and this goblin fits the bill pretty good. Maybe I'll give some fantasy fiction a look. And I've been reading a lot of modern fantasy comics for no prize, and really enjoying it. I've become a bit of a Conan and a Red Sonja fan. I bought one of the Mythic Legions I bought this year was specifically because it looked like an independent fantasy sword and sorcery character I was really enjoying. Um, and I'm actually reading or listening through a compendium of all the original Conan stories on Audible right now. And low key thinking about playing Skyrim just because I am so much in the mood for fiction about barbarians and skelly mans and shit like that. And this kickstarted that whole big sword and sorcery kick I've been on this year, and it's for all those reasons that he makes it to number 4.
Yeah, I've always wanted take the plunge on Boss Fight or Mythic Legion, and I know that it'll like if I had a toy store near me like you do, or if I found a place that had those on the pegs at all, I would probably instantly buy two just immediately.
Mhm.
The FYE, there's a new FYE store in the mall that has been getting collectibles. And it's not a regular FYE, it's just like merch stores, which I've not seen them do yet.
Hmm.
Um, and they had stuff in there. I'll have to go back and take a picture. They had stuff in there that I've never even seen in the United States. Like they had like Japanese figures in there that I was like, this I've never seen this available for purchase like this. This is insane. And they had some exclusives, but I've never seen the Mythic Legions in person. And I really wanted to go in on their space thing.
Mhm.
Uh,
Cosmic
I wish
Legions.
yeah, I wish I didn't see that it was discounted for the entire wave, about $100 off, because that's something to think about. But it costs more than a PS5 to get all those, so I don't know about that.
Mhm.
How would you describe their posability as opposed to like Marvel Legends? Is it just as smooth? Are these things nice to handle, or like they scared? Like what's
Okay,
going on?
so joint count wise, it's less than a Legends on average, but the range is better than you get with a Legends usually. And the joints themselves, they'll look a little scary because you might get like a little bit of paint that's flecked up in there, but it's not like a NECA figure where it gums up the joint or you're worried you're gonna break it. Um, Most of the ones I've handled, the articulation feels super smooth, just in that nice spot right between tight enough that it'll hold a pose and loose enough that you can just pick it up and start messing with it.
Okay, I still don't know where I would start or end,
Hmm. It's
but
funny because like I've got a basic little set of figures. I got a knight, I got two skelly mans, I got a goblin, and now I'm kind of like, okay, do I want to get some elves or like a barbarian, or do I want to get into some of the beasties? Because the beasties are real spicy in the price department, but man, they look cool.
yeah, and I mean they know what they're doing with just about all of this, but I don't know. I really do want to go in on some of these, but there's been something that's holding me back between this and boss fight, and I think I'd go to boss fight first, just because of how I like to play with my toys. I think that would make a little bit more sense on their side,
That's
but I don't
fair, and
know.
I do want to grab a couple of the boss fight skeletons that have been coming out this year. They look fun.
Yeah, um, that's a hot pick. I've been trying to find a picture of the guy you said you had on their
Oh,
website. I cannot
let me
find it.
see if I can find him through the Google real quick. Because his name is spelled slightly funky, I would say.
Wait, is it Sir Elijah?
I think his name is just Malleus. Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
Mal.
I got him. I got a picture. Hang on. It in the chat.
Oh yeah, that's easy to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the cool thing is, like, Mythic Legions, one of the main selling points with the whole line is that a lot of the parts are super modular. So, like, you can take off those shoulder pauldrons and that collar if you don't like him, or, like, you can make the battle axes double battle axes, and so on and so it goes.
Well, that's actually how I like to play with my toys. So, fuck what I said like 2 seconds ago. Um, the myth or the boss fight, like the parts can interchange, and you can take their. I mean, it's almost the same, but I think they're also completely different scales because those are 6 inch, right?
Yeah, they're like, I think they might be a tad bigger, but they're like in that scale where it's like you can fudge them into 6 inch.
Fair enough. That's a good choice. I like that.
Nice. All right. What is your number three?
My number three is Lego Dreams Z Blob.
Hey, I was wondering when we were gonna get something from this line.
Yeah, I mean, something always squeezes in, but this is something that I feel like I could definitely talk a lot about. And like getting into my top three in general, like there was some things that was hard to think about, and I don't know. But to talk about Z Blob here, Z Blob is a little goop mech, and I love my Lego mechs. I've always been obsessed with like little Lego action figures, Bionicle, whatever. Um, and he's just got this tiny little face. The second I opened because there's something perfect at like every angle for me with this set. It's
He's
a
like
$20
Lego's take on Ripley from Fortnite, looking at him.
kind of. The idea is like it's like he's like a little blob, and like whatever you dream you could do. So like he turns into a bunch of different stuff. Then he's got like a little micro figure, but like this is his like big action figure, which you can rebuild and give him like a robot face, and it's kind of like a perfect robot thing. And you can do a bunch of other cool stuff, and he's got like a flying motor. His stuff can turn into a little jetpack, but that's just like again, this is Legos, so that's just what they tell you can do. Like with the pieces they give you for Z Blob in this $20 box, which also comes with like a little monster thing, a minifigure, and some other stuff. I was just immediately able to start messing around and really not just enjoying like, the general play pattern of Lego, but like the clear greens of Lego and like the clear green plastic of toys that I love. And he's got this cute little blob face with like this little flag and a really cool looking sword. He's got little robot hands, and I was able to immediately give him a gauntlet gun and just kind of do whatever I want with just what was already in the box. And it's already Lego, so there's only endless things I could do outside of it. But like, you don't really have to do too much to have that kind of fun with this figure. And I think it also just struck a nerve with like a bunch of nostalgic Lego themes. It reminds me of certain space things, certain other types of characters throughout the years, and I've really enjoyed messing around with them. He's got a really good articulation. It's not going to be anything compared to the stuff that we've been talking about or will talk about, but it's definitely improved. Lego's upped their game with like their heavy ratchet joints for specifically this design of figures, and he does still have little bendable like he's got little swivel hands and posable fingers and stuff, but it's not really meant to do that. They're kind of meant to be able to like move his arms and stuff around and pose them out real quick and then kind of like set him down on the table and he sets himself.
Hmm.
Which he does that perfectly, and he can still do all kinds of other interesting poses. And if I want more, I'll literally redesign it to have a little bit better ankle articulation or something like that with some other pieces. So the beauty of it being Lego is fantastic, but the beauty of it being perfect out of the box, I think, is just something I rarely see, and at the $20 price range. Like it just hits all the points for me when it comes to both Lego and just buying things in general. He also stands a bit taller than most of my 6-inch figures, so I think he's about 7.5 inches.
Nice. Yeah, I ain't never seen that thing before tonight, but just like looking at it on Google Images and whatnot, it looks like a really fun toy. And it's always super cool to hear like what hits it for you the most with Lego every year, because like you're very much a Lego guy, whereas I am somebody who appreciates Lego from afar, because I'm very much of the mindset of like it's fun to build, but I don't want to mess around with it much once it's done and it just kind of gathers dust, so I don't see much point in actually buying it. But I love looking through the Lego aisle every once in a while and seeing what they got going on. So it's cool that stuff had made it so far up your list this year.
I'll post all the little pictures that I took back when I got it.
All right.
Um, but the style this thing has and the stuff that you could do with them, I don't know. Like it's, I remember one of the first years we did this. I think it was the Lego Street Cleaner
Mm-hmm.
that made it on there, which I still think that might be one of like the best Lego sets to me of all time.
Oh, this is
And
the
this,
guy with the brick built pencil spear.
yeah, Mateo is his name.
Nice. Yeah, this
Um,
is this is rad.
this general set, like this general theme, is just phenomenal, and the stuff we're getting from season two is even cooler. Um, I really need to buy more of it just because I want to show Lego that I want this shit, but it's hard to justify the rest of it because this guy is an action figure that can stand on the shelf, and one of the other sets in this theme is a giant like floating sky ship shark, and I don't have floating sky ship shark space now, so.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's like the translucent green, the whites, the perfect little stickers there, and like the actual like pizzazz of the character, and the way you could just kind of just stand him there. He's got little shooters and a little gun, and like I already combined the gun into one thing and did some custom stuff, and uh, I don't know. The thing is just fun. It's what makes me love Lego in a very nice package.
Nice. Also, I just realized it's a fucking white and green robot, and the Mateo guy, he's got like an hourglass symbol on his chest. So there's like major Ben 10 vibes coming off of this whole set.
Oh yeah, the hourglass thing is something that uh, goes into all of the little like dreams characters. Um, but it is funny for this specific thing though.
Mm.
But yeah,
All right.
there's a lot of like unique designs. Like that pencil little build is dope. Yeah, you can see like their little hourglass thing in one of those pictures. They have like a little like thing they use. It's a very nice mold for Lego. The little
Mm.
hourglass.
Yeah, I seen it. Very neat. Very neat. All right. My number three is going to be another kind of a departure, kind of a first for me. Uh, and I haven't gotten anything else from this line yet, but I definitely do intend to now. The 112 Collective Superman Man of Steel edition. This is kind of the dictionary definition of just perfect figure for this character. Like I said, I got majorly back into Superman this year. I've always liked him, but I've always been much more of a Supergirl guy. We know this about me, but I started reading all the Superman books that DC is currently putting out at the start of this year, and they've all been great. Um, and I wanted to get this figure since it was announced at like the start of last year, but I didn't have the money when it dropped in January. And lucky enough for me, it just sat around on a lot of websites for months and months. And then I had a car accident where my vehicle got totaled, and I got a decent payout from that, and I didn't have to spend the payout on a new car because my aunt and uncle offered me my grandpa's car basically for free because he had recently passed away. So it was like a crazy storm of coincidence that allowed for suddenly I can afford to get this Mezco figure. And it is absolutely stunning. It looks just like how I want Superman to look. He's got like a nice chiseled jaw with the short jaunted hair. He's buff, but he's not beefy. The cloth suit is like something that I feel specifically works really well for Superman as a character. Um, I love that he has so many alternate heads, but I especially love that one of them is just him smiling. Not like beaming, not like angry or upset or fighting or anything like that. I just want him just calmly smiling. That's how I want Superman to look on my shelf, and so few toy companies ever give Superman that expression. And then on top of that, he just comes with a shit zillion accessories. There's a little case of different kinds of kryptonite. There's a Phantom Zone projector. The Black Mercy's in here. There's effects parts to do the frickin' heat vision. Just pretty much everything you could want out of a Superman figure, short of like a freeze breath effect, is here. Like he's even got, I know some people didn't like that there wasn't a wire in the bottom of it, but there's a wired cloth cape with two wires running down the sides, and that's enough to get it to look like it's billowing in the wind, which is all I really need. It is absolutely the perfect Superman figure as far as Superman figures we've gotten in recent years go. Having watched reviews of all of them and only pulled the trigger on this one. And it's made me basically go like, okay, I don't think I'm going to straight up collect all of 112 Collective DC because that's a lot of money, but I definitely at least want to get the Trinity in 112 Collective. So now I'm kind of like going back and forth on which versions of Batman and Wonder Woman I want and when I'm going to be able to afford them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the adult version of us getting the same kind of scale figures would just end up being Mezco because I'm looking at some of these other ones, and I've looked at that spot or that Superman quite a few times. And I mean, most of the time, the thing that saves me from pulling the trigger on any of these is just that I'm like, I already buy a different scale of the same type of thing. It's close enough. I really wanted to do the Fantastic Four so
Mhm.
bad.
I watched a review for them the other day. They look really damn good, dude. Like, I'm happy with my Walgreens set of FF, but if I were ever to upgrade, that would be what I would be upgrading to.
The Ben Grimm alone, I think. I mean, dude, that set alone, I just can't even looking at it right now. Like only for like this is how fucked up it is. Only $420. It's only $420.
But
It is
you're
worth it.
getting the four, you're getting Herbie, and you're getting a shit zillion accessories and like enough option parts for Reed to basically make a fifth figure.
Herbie's a posable little figure too, and
Yeah.
you can that feels like classic Marvel Legends is what it does. That feels like the evolution of the Toy Biz Marvel Legend.
Mhm.
Looking at these.
And
But I
if
don't
we're
know,
being honest, it only really costing that much because of the tailored cloth costumes, which I know some people don't like them. I don't need them on every character, but like for the big guns, like the DC Trinity, like the FF, I think it really works.
Yeah, I mean, the Superman you picked out is probably one of the best looking Superman figures. I know I've almost went in on their regular figures, like their own brand stuff a few times,
Mm.
like the tank head guy.
Yeah, the
Um,
Rumble Society.
yeah, those I think if anything's gonna ever get me to like really jump that shark, it's gonna be those.
Mm.
Um, but we'll see what they keep giving us because they sure do keep giving us some gold.
Nice. All right. Well, sir, what is your number two?
Well, this would be the surprise. The number two is my G.I. Joe HasLab His Tank.
Hey! I was wondering if it was going to be number two or number one.
Me too, or one. Um, turn around and talk. But this thing is above all else. It just is. All right. It is big. It is near perfect, if not just regular perfect. The lights in it are incredible. Like it's got high beams. The projector works. It's got like a Cobra projector. I mean, I don't know how much in detail I need to go in about all the stuff it has on it, because it was a ballpark HasLab from a year and 4 or 5 months ago. Um, and waiting has kind of been the worst part about it because it kept getting pushed back and not talked about or whatever. And all three of the figures that I opened are phenomenal, and I'm not going to open the other one. Uh, I might. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not going to open the Cobra Commander because it seems like he's going to be worth a lot of money, and I know we're going to get that mold in the retro line.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say wait at least a year. I feel like if we're going to get him in the regular retro line, it'll be within the year.
if I had a need for a Cobra Commander immediately, I would open them probably. I would say fuck it.
Mhm.
But honestly, knowing that it's still worth a pretty good penny by itself unopened, and it's nice to look at unopened. Um, and the Cobra Commander I do have, the only one I've gotten for classified, is the San Diego Comic Con black and red matching his tank colors Cobra Commander. So what else could I really put in them? Because I mean, damn it. For me, the top the top the number two sorry the number two spot is taken by the tank itself. The figures are phenomenal. The whole package is amazing. All of the extra guns, dude. Like putting all these on, like the mini guns and like the ratcheting turrets and the extra armor options. Like
Yeah,
the
man.
thing is,
I was watching the Floosh review that came out today over lunch, and I was just kicking myself so hardcore because I was in on that thing during the campaign, and then I had to cancel it because I had car trouble the week it ended, and I I kept going like, oh well, maybe I'll save up and I'll get it when Toy Federation gets theirs in because they'll sell it for like not an unreasonable markup, and as soon as I finished the Foosh review, I went on my social media to look at some stuff, and Toy Federation got theirs in today, and I just ain't gonna have that kind of money till February. And usually, they do let you do payments on most things, but in the social media posts they were straight up like, we're selling these outright or not at all. Sorry, we can't be having these things sit around and having people ask about them constantly. And I was like, that's fair. I guess I'm just not getting one of those, and that's also kind of fine because like I'm a little stuffed at the moment. My Joe shelf is overflowing. I need to put up some shelves on the wall already because it's just it. I don't got much more room, so can't be having a hiss tank in this house right now.
Yeah, and I mean, size is an understatement. I have a Galactus, and truthfully, he takes up less of a footprint than this fucking his tank does because it's a tank on the ground versus a giant baby standing up. Um, and I mean, this thing is big. It is like it's bigger than a Chihuahua. It's a little bit bigger than most pugs I've encountered, but I'd say it's about the same. Um, but man, does it demand the space that it exists in. Like it kicks ass. The lights come on, the canopy like details in there. Like I think everything hits exactly where it needs to. I it almost feels like I can't really have a full on thought of whether or not I think it's worth it, but I think it's easily worth it. I think like thinking about the figures alone, knowing that they're $25 a piece, and they don't skimp out on accessories per box per figure at all. The things I appreciate about them are the fact that the boxes aren't taped. Obviously the his tank box was taped, but everything on the inside is sealed or not sealed by tape or anything like that, so you can open it and then close it again. Minus, of course, the accessories. The accessories are still put in tissue paper, and you got to rip those open. But you can perfectly reseal the boxes. You don't have to damage them or bend them or anything like that. And I think that was probably a little bit on purpose. To
Yeah.
open Cobra Commander, though, that will be a permanent decision because he's on a retro card back.
Mhm.
And I don't like that. I love how pretty the retro card back Marvel Legends are and stuff like that and the other things, but sometimes I do like to hold on to my boxes, and I hold on to none of those retro card backs because you can't. They're just broken. Um, the figures, like I said, though, each one of them just fantastic. You know, it's going to be a classified figure. We know we're going to love it. It's really the details and the having a his tank and always dreaming of something like this. And I mean, man, it is a personnel carrier. You could really cram some dudes on this thing. You could really do some crazy stuff with it. Like, I have it displayed with all of the tiers unlocked. I guess you could say. So it's got the heavy duty weapons on everything. Um,
Right on.
and I got the main regular tank driver male with his super gauntlets on that they packed in with everybody. Um, and these super gauntlets are just something they're kind of giving me big boa vibes. There's just a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it's a fucking his tank. I don't know what else. It's got working treads.
Mhm.
It's one of the only things I think I own period that has
Now
working treads.
I do have a question about it that I haven't heard you bring up, and the Floosh review didn't talk about at all. Have you checked at all to see what blast effects are compatible with it? Because I remember back during the initial reveal, Lenny was like, "It's going to be blast effect compatible. We just haven't decided the durometer yet," and they hadn't said anything since. So I'm still curious about that.
Like the diameter of like the little things. Some of the Marvel Legends effects, I should be able to test this right now with
Like,
some of these.
could you put Transformers effects in the main gun? Could you put, say, Scrap Irons effects on the missile pods?
So scrap irons effects don't work with the missile pods at all because of how they store on there.
Okay.
The missiles can all remove, but they're on the wishbone system.
Mm.
Uh, and I think they even brought this up before, but the I think the wishbone system, this system is going to be compatible with the effects on the Dragonfly.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen some people in the GI Joe groups, or yeah, in the GI Joe groups, use their Iron Man effect parts in the main cannons.
Hmm.
The Iron Man effect parts I just so happen to have sitting on my desk don't actually work in there. They're a little too fat. Um, and I haven't really tried it with much other stuff of that nature, but I do have the Black Widow effect parts right here in front of me. Transformers effect parts would not fit. It's definitely the small effect parts up there.
Mm.
The Black Widow ones are too small, and have fallen right out of that. So not the Black Widow ones.
Okay.
The Black Widow ones will fit into the minigun though
Ooh.
perfectly. Actually, there we go. So
So that
slightly
would
different
probably mean
design.
the Viper effects could also fit in
Most likely, yeah. I think GI Joe accessories do have a a size for the larger barrel there. I'm not finding anything on my side of random effect parts sitting in front of me that fit that though.
there. Okay.
Um, but yeah, the only other thing I haven't tried yet is they said the little miniguns that go up on the turret that are like supposed to be the well, these would be like anti-personnel guns. Um, they said that you could have a figure hold on to them, and I do see ways that a figure can hold on to it a little bit, but I'm not sure about the rest of it. I don't know how I display it that way, like without it. They said
Hmm.
you're supposed to be able to like hold them outside of it.
Interesting.
But I think that's all I have to gush about this his tank that I waited a year and a half for and paid $300 for a year and a half ago.
All right. Well, my number two is gonna be something that I think was always going to end up on the list, but it was just kind of where. And I went back and forth on it a few different times, but ultimately I think it does belong at number two. It's the SH Figuarts Shinshoku Seiho Common Rider Wizard Flame style, which is my favorite common rider in his base form, and I think almost all of his suits are beautiful, but his base form is just fantastic. They fixed all the problems with the original release that came out when the show was on the air. The skirts are actually soft goods with a wire in them now. They made the rings much smaller, much more show accurate in size, and they changed the gimmick to not be, oh, there's different hands for different rings, to the rings can actually come out of the hands and you can swap them between hands, which does get a little scary sometimes because they are fucking microscopic pieces of plastic, but as long as you're being careful, it's really cool. It's SH Figure Arts, so the articulation is just there, and it's modern Common Rider SH Figure Arts, so the proportions and sculpt in general are really nice and realistic. And I really like the way they handled his weapon, the Wizard Sword Gun, where they didn't make it like a copy of how it transforms in the show because it's kind of unrealistic how it does that. Uh, they made it like a full-on swappable piece between the gun and the sword mode, with like a base trigger piece. But the hand for doing the final attack can still open like the DX toy does, and all that works out super well in my opinion. But the thing that really pushes this over the edge from like general top 10 to gotta be somewhere in my top 5 is the fact that this figure was sold to me because this figure came out a few years ago. But this specific one was sold to me by a friend of the channel, Geek with Chris. And this was actually how we met. Was I followed him on social media for years because he's a big name in the online tokusatsu community. And I just saw that he was selling it one day, and I was like, hey, I've always wanted it and happen to have the money he's asking right now. Why don't I hit him up and go ahead and buy that? And he was like, yeah, oh, hey, he was the one who went, oh, I just realized we live like 10 minutes from each other. Do you want to meet up and do this in person and I'll knock off the shipping cost? And I was like, hell yeah, dude, let's go to Toy Federation. And we did that, and we spent like 2 hours just walking around the store talking and being like, oh, we actually really vibe in person. And I've hung out with him about a half dozen times since then. Went to Shin Kamen Rider with him. He came on Components. We've had a couple private Discord calls, and he's just a super chill guy who strikes me as like the kind of collector I want to be 10, 15 years from now. And it's super awesome to have somebody like that in my life in the same area as I am, who I can talk to pretty much whenever, as long as he's not working or busy with dad responsibilities. Um, so it's just a fantastic figure that kicked off a friendship that I think is probably going to be going strong for years.
Hell yeah. What was the last part of it? Because I got Common Rider Wizard SH Fig Arts, and I've not been able to find the
Okay,
rest of
hang on.
what you said.
Shinchoku Seiho is their word for figures that are updates of figures they did years ago. And it's a Japanese set of words that basically translates to true bone carving. So I'll get you pictures of this specific version real
Is it the
quick.
dragon one?
No, the dragon one came out this year. Damn it, that link's not working. There we go. It's this guy.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, that's a big thing with Wizard is all of his forms are modeled after jewelry.
Oh, nice. I mean, the design beats in Common Rider. I just can't ever stop myself from staring at.
Hmm.
Um, my favorite is the Forze ones, but
Yeah, and this is the guy who came the year after Forze.
okay,
Yeah, and like I said, he was my first Common Rider, and he's still to this day like his show is my favorite Common Rider show. I feel like it's massively underrated in that fandom, but could just be me. I don't know. I only made a fucking 40-minute video espousing the virtues of it a few years ago.
very nice. No, I
But
mean, I get it. It's a very interesting pick, but I guess I'm not surprised.
yeah. But before we do our number ones, we're going to be doing a new category that I decided to throw in this year just to spice things up a little bit more. We're going to be talking about the worst single toy we personally picked up this year. Doesn't have to be from this year, and it doesn't have to be like an outright bad piece of shit, but just something you got that more so than anything else you didn't like and maybe you wanted to like. So I'm going to let you kick us off with that. Snody, what is your worst toy of the year?
Um, I was thinking about this a lot, and it was kind of hard to like really nail down. I forgot about it a little bit throughout the week, and I was thinking about it today after I was going back through the list of stuff. Um, and I don't know. I mean, like there wasn't a lot of stuff that I picked up where I was like, "Damn, I this kind of isn't fun." Um, I almost thought about putting because I mean, like I had that issue with Bazooka. I got Armada Hotshot, and his visor broke before I got him out of the box, so I
Mm.
had to return him. So I sat with a unopened Armada Hotshot that I really didn't want to enjoy for a little while before I got the regular one, and that did kind of sour that experience. Um, but I think if I had to pick one, if I really had to pick one that I was a little bit let down with, even with the stuff that it does, the Hazard Trooper guy from the GI Joe Walmart capsule they did. The one with
Hmm.
like
The
the
mole rat.
yeah. And it's like their zombie figure too, right? So like I thought this was gonna be a two beat win for me because it was gonna be half like cool scientists with cool weapons or like cool little gear bits, and then half like finally a zombie because I always wanted the original zombie they did um in the 30th or the 25th line. And I thought that was gonna be the route we took whenever we got the zombie arm in the Dr. Mindbender set. But getting the figure in hand, I mean, it doesn't articulate the best. The sculpt and everything is definitely there, but he also has vents on his body that kind of don't go into places. In the mask, the masked head,
Hmm.
the goggle eyes on the masked head glow in the dark. The dark energon crystal jutting out of his face glows in the dark, which is great. And the effects on his little weapons glow in the dark, like the little like screens and stuff. Um, which I think made it all more like disappointing because I was like, dude, this should have been like a knock out of the park for me, but like the weapon kind of only really works and makes sense if you use it a certain way. Like it was built to be modular, and it does not succeed with that. Um, and I kind of realized like I'm gonna have to like have him with like the little Geiger counter in one hand, or like maybe displayed as a zombie. But outside of that, like he kind of doesn't do the job of being just a general background soldier or like worker that well because of the restrictions I faced with the masthead and stuff like that. I don't necessarily regret picking it up, but like that was definitely supposed to be the number one. Not the number one figure, but that was supposed to be like one of the best ones I got this year. Um, and Shooter, I think, was like Shooter blew me away in that box. So I think with getting a figure that I was expecting to get but not really caring for, and having that one blow me away, and then having this figure like disappoint me in such a way, it was definitely rough. But that was really the only thing I could call to think about, because I've picked a lot of other stuff up, but it's been very specific, and I kind of already knew if it was going to be crap or not. Um, and there, I mean, there wasn't anything that jumped out or just was outright bad, like the year I got the Earthrise tracks or whatever.
That's fair. Um, I definitely had a couple of different things I was going back and forth on whether or not they were going to be my worst of the year. Um, I can't remember them all. I think there were like four different ones I kept debating on, but one of the ones that didn't make it was the Black Series Mara Jade, which is a good looking figure, but it's fucking the hand feel on that thing is just awful. But ultimately, I decided that my worst of the year had to be something that like really felt like an affront to me personally, I gotta say. And that is the Transformers Legacy Armada Megatron.
Hmm.
I and here's the thing. I tried to be political about this toy in my video on it, but then Fuse video came out like a month later and he just fucking went to town on it and I felt so vindicated. And I was just like, all right, okay. It's not me being a rose tinted fuckhead. Few didn't grow up with Armada, and he feels the exact same way I am. So I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think this thing freaking sucks. Like, don't get me wrong. It is a good sculpt. It it visually hits all the marks that this design needs to, but that's all it fucking has going for it. The articulation is kind of lacking. He doesn't have anything that's fun to pose him with. They stripped out all the gimmicks, which essentially sucks out all the fun from this toy for me. And I really wanted this to be like the Generations Megatron that finally did it for me. Finally made me go like, all right, I got a good shelf Megatron. I can have this and just be happy with this. And like maybe I'll rebuy the Megatrons that came out when I was a kid again. But like this can just sit there and I don't need to buy another Generations Megatron again. Nope. I did not like messing with this thing at all. I didn't even put it on the same shelf as the rest of my generation's Transformers after I took it off my desk. And ultimately, a few weeks later, I ended up reselling it to the same store I bought it from. So, yeah, fucking don't like it. Bad.
And I did enjoy mine, but I understand the gripes. Like I feel those. It's almost in the same vein as like what I was saying. I thought visually was missing from the Armada Prime. Like with all the stuff they've been cramming in a lot of these figures, like thinking about it at that price range of $50 is rough. You know, like
60. Liters are 60 now.
what the fuck? I mean, damn, like it is just a tank and he does the tank bit, but like there's not much else. There's no leader one, there's no effect part.
Hmm.
Like
And
that,
it also doesn't help that like the fucking original Armada Megatron was my childhood Megatron. I played with that toy till it fell apart, and then I rebought another one when I got to be an adult and I could understand how to buy toys on the internet.
yeah, see, I don't blame you feeling that way, because I'd feel pretty crushed if something like that happened to me with like something I've been waiting for. And maybe that's kind of why I'm like putting off the Prime, is because I'm afraid of that, even though I hear that it's good. But like that Megatron was fine. I just never had that Megatron, and I always wanted one. So it did that for me, but it kind of just did that. Like it sure does stand there and look like that Megatron, but it doesn't do any of the other cool stuff. Um, I don't know. We'll see how I feel whenever I get Tidal Wave and put that stuff on them, but
Yeah.
I probably won't be
I'm so
caring too
fucking
much
thankful
because
that you can at least display those pieces separately as like a mini Dark Fleet, and that their only function isn't just to combine with Megatron, because otherwise I'd be like, fuck, do I gotta rebuy that toy for when I get Tidal Wave? And no, I don't. I could just display the little boats next to my Tidal Wave, and it'll be fine.
yeah, I mean, I don't actually know the details about that, but even still, like,
Oh,
I don't.
Sam posted a bunch of stuff about it on Instagram today. You should go read that.
Okay, I saw like some of the black and white stuff, but I didn't see much else outside of that. Well, that's good. I mean, I don't know. I feel your gripe on that Megatron. You know, I don't mind having him, but I definitely feel the lack of shit. You know, because like yeah, he could do the tank spinning around a bit, and it feels like there's some missed opportunities with the ability to like plug stuff in that 5 millimeter port that he could have at the end of his arm. Um, I honestly am expecting them to do like a different mold with like a whole different ass character, and like it'll probably feel like it was meant for that mold and not Megatron, but we will
Well,
see.
we already know, thanks to listing leaks, that they're going to be releasing the Galvatron colors of this mold. So, can't wait for that to fucking shelf warm, probably.
I'll wait for sale on that bad boy.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's enough. That's enough griping and groaning and ranting. Let's do it up. Let's finish this thing out strong. Codius Snodius Conius Burke. What is your number one toy that you picked up in the year of our Lord 2023?
Well, I wonder what you think it might be. I'm kind of
I
more curious.
I really don't know because you've hit on everything that I thought was going to be on your list already.
And it was already on the list. So what else could it be? Um, it is Transformers, uh, Legos. I forget United or whatever. It's Crash Bar. It's
Legacy Evolution Crash Bar. Hell
Legacy
yeah, dude.
Evolution Crash Bar. More than any toy I bought this entire year, I think I played with Crash Bar every time. Anytime I got a robot, anytime I got a Transformer, Crash Bar came out too because it wasn't necessarily, which is it kind of goes into the Megatron talk. You know, I got Megatron and I still bust out Crash Bar because I wanted to see what the barrel would do, and that's all he had. That's all I had to like play with my like Crash Bar and like my Iser gimmick and stuff like that. Like Tarn and Crash Bar pair up beautifully. Crash Bar and Magnius feel like they were meant for each other. It's crazy. Like there are, I've just been nothing but enjoying like moving their parts back and forth amongst each other. Um, but Crash Bar, have you gotten your chance to put your hands on this figure at all?
No, I haven't gotten any of those Legacy Junkions, unfortunately.
It might be one of the best articulated deluxe class figures we've gotten, but the figure also just has so many 5 millimeter ports on his robot mode, and the way his arms work, you could really just pull his arms off, put extra arms on. Like I've for the longest time throughout the most of the year, I would have him posed with some of the Rise of the Beast weapon masters that they released, like the monkey cannon and the butt gatling, which are some of my favorite toys I got this year as well. I just felt like they're a bit more accessory side, so they really didn't merit like that. But this guy poses by himself fantastically. The flavor of this toy and like the character of him and like the goatee and I don't know, like feeling that this is probably the heart where like the designer and some of the other designers wanted this figure to go. Like this thing feels phenomenal just as a toy or an action figure. Like he's got all the articulation I want. He's got all the little mixtures of color and stuff like that. But I really did enjoy this more than any of the other Isers and any of the other modular based transformers we've gotten. Um, he can have a very sassy pose to him, kind of like whenever that first New Order clone or the New Order Stormtrooper came out. That figure in Black Series, which was like forever ago now, but like it was very posable compared to the rest of them.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know, there's just so much you could do with them. Like he's got 5 millimeter ports on his like just above his hips, on the sides of his legs, on both sides, on the bottoms of his feet. There's actually more on one leg than there is another. So one leg has four total ports on the inside, or two on the inside, two on the outside. The other leg just has one on the inside and one on the outside. The arms have a 5 millimeter port on either side of the forearm. He's got a rotating wrist. He's got a 5 millimeter port in both shoulders, and the back has one, two, so maybe I'd say 4-ish millimeter or 4-ish 5 millimeter ports. I think just two maybe. Um, but he's got a weird thing he could do with the handlebars anyways, and like the handlebars kind of turn into more 5 millimeter compatibility the more stuff you put on them. And with there being holes perfectly where wings would be, you can do whatever you want. You can give him bone wings. I gave him stone arms or a stone cannon thing, just combining all the parts from Magnus whenever I got them. Like I've combined them with Ironworks and like every other like this figure alone made me go back through all of them, every other combination figure I had, and just kept playing with them more and more. But like this feels like if they were their own toy line, it would be this character and Magnus, and everybody else be like add-ons or afterthoughts compared to these two characters on the shelf. And I think that might be everything I could say about this boy.
That's wonderful. I know you're really into that whole thing they've been doing since Siege with the little sub faction within the line of people who are specifically engineered to come apart and build into shit with other figures. So it's really nice to hear one of those actually hit your number one for once in one of these. I don't know, like I think I said this to you in like an SMP or something a little while back, but like I always look at those and I go, those are neat. I'd like to pick up one or two. And then because of so much other shit that comes out during the year, I never get around to it. But you get every one and you tell me about them. And I'm like, man, I do kind of wish I'd gotten a couple of those actually.
And I see, like, this is what I'm talking about whenever I was, I'm not sure if it was recorded or not, but I was talking about I had issues with the Studio Series Brawn, but I couldn't figure out what they were immediately because I thought the figure represented everything it needed to. And the issues are, I wanted Brawn to be a little bit more compatible with some of these bits
Mm-hmm.
because I've enjoyed ripping this guy apart and, like, Frankenstein him onto every figure I get, and then taking whatever weapons and stuff that character comes with and trying to reconvene them into this character. And like you could use his feet. His feet can kind of close into claws and grab onto stuff. So that alone gives me like endless ideas for stuff. I've also been waiting for them to reissue this figure because I figured we'd get a second one. Because
Yeah.
I'm not
And
sure if
you
they
need a second
decided
one to make Junkosaurus, don't you?
that's what I understand, but there is a way to kind of split Crash Bar and make just one, and make do with just one and give him tinier arms. But then again, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because I got the final one, the trash one, and the trash one is the least pull apartable out of all of the Iser figures they've released.
Mm.
Sure, it's a great transformer and all, and I guess it's cool in both modes and poses really well and has all the articulation, but why can't I parts form this figure? Come on, Hasbro, get with it.
Maybe it's just they couldn't figure out how to make that work at a Voyager scale.
No, I think what it is that it needed to be designed differently to be sturdy enough to hold the rest of it up. Because
Mm.
he's the legs, the heavy parts of it, and it does make sense in that way. It's a
All
good
right.
figure no matter what, but uh, this one's better.
All right. Well, it's time for my number one. And my number one is interesting because it's not something I would have guessed would have been my number one at the start of the year. And it's something I don't think you're going to expect, Cody. And I also think it's something that, were this a popular thing we did every year, would run the risk of making a few people mad at me in the comments. But I don't care because it brought me a lot of joy and comfort. It is the Transformers Classic Hero Team Optimus Primal.
Classic hero team.
This is the current Rescue Bot spot on the peg filler line that is $10 and they're all like one or two step changers. and I bought the Optimus Primal. Did I say Optimus Prime? I meant to say Optimus Prime because that's the one I have.
That's the one I looked up because I remembered you telling us about it.
Yeah.
Um,
I picked it up because I was just in a Walmart one day looking for something to buy so I could get cash back. And this was the cheapest thing I could find that I actually wanted that wasn't like a friggin' little Debbie cake or something like that. And initially I got it like, oh, this will be fun to mess around with for a day, and then I'll give it to my nephew. Um, no, this is mine. This lives on my desk permanently because this is a perfect stress ball toy. The transformation is just such a simple, you slam him down, you click him into place, and he's done. And you can do that back and forth perfectly, endlessly, with nothing getting in the way. And it feels so satisfying to do so because it's all these little, essentially sheets of plastic that are kind of just clanging against each other as he does it. It really feels satisfying to transform him on the level of, like, I would say a Unicron trilogy toy. He's far less complex than those, and he doesn't have any fun gimmicks like those, but his transformation is such a satisfying, simple set of actions that it kind of qualifies as its own gimmick. And on top of that, it's just an excellent little Optimus Primal. He got all the details you want in either mode. And if you still have at least a little bit of imagination left, I imagine he's fun to play with.
I no, I mean I kind of get the vibe. It's kind of the same thing with like my Mattel little guys there. Like I get that, and it does look like an enjoyable thing. I mean, I'm somebody who loves like the original not the original, yeah, GoBots. No,
The
um,
the play school ones.
the Play School GoBots, where like there was the race car and the cop car and stuff. Like, or were those called Rescue Bots at first? You know, the chunky ones.
The ones with
These
Rescue Roy.
I'm gonna find out if that's the ones. Transformers Rescue Roid?
Roy.
Yes. No. I've never seen this thing. That's a Tonka figure.
I could have sworn, like, wasn't this? I remember Rescue Roy being a Transformers thing.
I see Tonka on the side of it.
Well, Hasbro do be owning.
Maybe then.
Yeah, because he came in like a series of robots like that. And he's on the TF Wiki. Rescue Roy is a GoBot from the 123 Transformers portion of the GoBots continuity family.
Yeah, I'm definitely talking about the Play School GoBots though. Yeah, I'm seeing the ones that I'm missing. I get the appeal of wanting something nice, chunky, and easy to deal with. I mean, we both love Rescue Heroes, so that's
Yeah, I
just
mean,
it's a
I've
good.
just been literally every podcast we've done this year since I got him, which was like early in the summer. There's been a portion of it where I've just been sitting back, listening to the conversation and absent-mindedly transforming Optimus Primal back and forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my guy. That's my number one. It's very unusual for how I tend to rank my top 10, but I don't know, he just does it for me.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I kind of like it. I this might be one of my favorite top ones that you've done so far.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I mean, like, what's the point of it? Like, because like we don't really rate these on quality. Because I'm not gonna say any one of these figures is better than the other.
Mhm.
Some of them are better than others, but again, you can't really compare like your Rescue Bot character to my little Mattel toys to a Green Goblin to a Z Blob.
Yeah,
Like
our rankings are always like what gave you the most personal enjoyment throughout the year. And that's the thing, is like a lot of the things I get, I tend to mess with them for a couple of days and then they go on the shelf, and maybe I'll take them down a few more times throughout the year. Some will stay on the desk a little longer, but Primal's just never left the desk. It's got to be him for that reason alone.
I dig it. I think we kind of both picked our number ones from the exact same place. It seems.
Yeah. All right.
And
Well,
Yeah.
Normally, this is where we would end it off, but we do have a bonus kind of wrap up segment that I figured would be interesting to add this year, which is just kind of general goals and like things that you want to accomplish or fix about yourself as a collector in 2024. And I'm going to go first on this because I sprung this on Cody tonight because I just thought of it while I was at work today. I was like, yeah, this would be a good idea. Not many people really talk about this, and it's something that we should do more as a community, is try and acknowledge faults and like set realistic goals. This isn't here's my current grail list. This is here's the things I realistically think if I really focus, I could probably do next year. So I'm going to go first so Cody has a little extra time to think about it. Um, and as far as like getting stuff, I think my main thing is I kind of want to finish my Generations collection next year. I know it's a silly thing to say with an ongoing line, but the thing is, pretty much all the characters I want are out in one form or another now, and I can kind of pick and choose which version works best for me. And I have an idea from years and years of watching Transformers reviews on YouTube of the ones I want. So I'm gonna try and take at least one step towards completing that goal with each paycheck. I would also like to expand out my DC collection that I kind of started this year. I've got a couple multiverse figs. I got an Icons figure that I've had for years, and now I have a 112 collective. I wanna kind of see what else is out there and stop being so OCD about like, no, I have to have a perfect 6-inch DC line that's like Legends, in that like it does perfect iconic comic versions and it does specific versions and it does movie versions and it goes all over the place and it has to be 6-inch. I need it to scale with Legends. I'm never going to get that perfect line, at least not in the current time we're living in. It's just not laid out that way. So I need to start piecemealing from all the different lines that are available to me, I think. And I do want to focus more on saving. I definitely haven't been the best deal hunter in the past. I'm not terrible, but like I could stand to spend a little less per month and like put some money back, put some money on my credit cards, and like just overall focus more on having money back for when opportunities arise or for things like cons. I haven't gone to either of my local cons this year because I just didn't have funds available at the time, and that kind of stung a little bit. I want to have some money saved back so that I can go to SC Comic Con and Retro Toy Con and get some cool retro or import stuff I couldn't find anywhere else, at least not in person. And keeping with that, I really only want to get a few key new releases next year. Um, there's like I made a Bluesky post the other day going like, oh, half my top 10 is already secured because this is coming out, and like honestly thinking about it, I think I only really want to get those things and maybe a few more that could get announced throughout the year as far as like brand new things that just came out went. There's so much other older stuff that came out in the last few years or came out during my childhood that I either had or never got a hold of and have since lost. And I could very easily go out there and get, and I just don't. And I definitely want to do that a little bit more next year. I got some vintage air quotes because technically something has to be 20 years old to be vintage, but like I count anything from my childhood, which is basically memory wise '01 to 2012. I count anything within that period as vintage because that's my childhood, and got a few things, but I didn't get a lot, and I didn't get anything that could have made the top 10. And also, because of stuff like Primal and Malleus, I want to give some more kids stuff and some more indie lines a try. I mean, toys are all for kids, generally speaking, but I want to get more stuff that's directly targeted at kids, and I want to get more stuff that's made not by the big companies to kind of just broaden my horizons a little bit. So I know that's a lot, but that's kind of where my mind at is at going into 2024.
I don't think that's necessarily a lot. I mean, that's not a bad way to think about a lot of things. Um, I think for me, I mean, I still do want to save, and I've learned a lot from being a little bit more frugal about some of the deals and stuff like that, and kind of hesitating on certain things. Um, and I think I'm going to get a little bit more specified, but I still do enjoy picking up various things. One thing I've said a few times throughout the years, these past couple of years, is like, I felt like I was going to go more into like certain Lego themes, and I really thought I was going to do it up with the last Lego space theme. But this year, like 2024, is going to be big Lego space. So I think what I need is I need to figure out a better desk situation that I could finally scoop my gigantic ass up to and be the proper level with some of these things to enjoy and build and like mess with, because the little space I have works pretty good now, but I think it needs to grow and change as well as the rest of it. And I don't know if that's going to be a big butcher table in the other room or what, but I need that space if I'm going to actually do what I'm planning on doing with the Lego space stuff, because they're pulling on a lot of different chords, and it, like, I don't know, it's going to be something to take a look at, but I just want to be a lot more conscious about the displays and stuff like that for my side of it. Like, I'm still going to enjoy certain things, and there's going to be a few other things that I want to kind of get into, but I do also kind of want to limit some other like buying. Like, I'm tired of feeling like I'm buying like Star Wars, Marvel Legends, Transformer, like all that stuff at the
The
same time.
the new product churn.
Yeah, and also like just I don't know, it's a lot, and like I'm still gonna buy the stuff I like, but I'm feeling less and less like I have a need to, grab all of, the Transformers or all of the G.I. Joe figures or any of them in that way, like I'm reaching a pretty particular high capacity, and I don't know, I I think that would be just about everything I could try to say about it. Other than like, I don't really plan on slowing down or anything like that. It's just becoming more and more difficult to figure out what the next cool thing I want is, unless they announce it and it goes right into my face. But there's definitely been plenty of stuff this year that got announced I was excited about, and then I just didn't. I just didn't go for it after I saw pictures of it, or after I thought about it, or like other things compared to other things. It just made me not want to pull the trigger. So I'm going to trust that side of me more, and just let the rest of it play itself out, I think.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that is it. That is everything we have to talk about tonight. Kind of funny. I think last year's was about 3 hours long, and we're about at the 3 hour mark right now in real time. I don't know what it will be after I truncate silence and after we do all the outro stuff we got to do right now. But man, we do just be talking about toys endlessly, huh?
Pretty much.
All right. Well, now that we're at the end of our talking about toys, Snowcone83, where can folks find you out there on the internet?
If you want to see pictures of most of the shit that I talked about tonight, never underscore robot on Instagram is a good place to try to see some of them. Outside of that, though, Snowcone83 on any game platform, uh, and walk outside and think of a indecent thought about me, and I may just show up.
And I am the Vacuuminator. I am retiring from content creation in general at the end of this year, but I probably will still keep my Instagram active, though I may change it to my government name. We'll see what ends up going down on New Year's Day. But for right now, you can find me on Instagram at _vacuuminator, and I post plenty of toy pics over there. And I may vary it up in the new year with some more like life stuff and whatnot, just because not doing that in videos and podcasts no more. Well, again, will depend on the vibe, but you can also find me right here on YouTube at the Vacuuminator. Every video I currently have public, and maybe even a few more, will stay public after I retire, at least until YouTube decides to terminate the channel because it hasn't been used in a bunch of years or whatever they determine it by. And yeah, all my other links are down in the video description, as are Snowdy's, so you can find them as you like them. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to Modular. Stick around. We got plenty more content coming before the year ends. And yeah, thanks so much for listening, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you back here next time.